Chapter 330 Which? You shouldn't have come. After the aircraft left, Su Miao came to the place where these people were breaking the ice, and saw the concrete bunker buried under the thick layer of ice. A ball of blue flame fell. The ice layer melted quickly, and a concrete bunker appeared in front of Su Miao. Several magical tentacles emerged. With a few swipes, the magic tentacles dismantled the concrete bunker, revealing the surveillance equipment inside. The monitoring equipment looks very high-end. Is this what CD's people are going to use to monitor her whereabouts? Su Miao raised his hand, and a ball of purple flame fell, burning the monitoring equipment to ashes. Next, it's time to track. However, if there is surveillance, will we be discovered if we chase after him directly? Su Miao thought about it, and decided to wait until the target marked by magic stopped moving before chasing after it. This way, there would be no problem even if he was discovered. It is just right to verify the distance of the magic mark. And by the way, to test the perception limit of the magic mark. The wait wasn't too long. After 20 minutes, the target marked by the magic mark seemed to stop moving, and it was probably reached the destination. Su Miao blinked, and was about to leave, when he unexpectedly discovered another aircraft coming towards him. The style of the aircraft is the same as the previous one, and it also belongs to the base under CD. Hack. Pink Devil. Almost at the same time, the aircraft discovered Su Miao. Because a bounty has been posted in the base. Find the whereabouts of the pink demon Su Miao and get 1,000 points as a reward. If you can get these 1,000 points, even if everyone present shares them together, it will be a huge fortune. However, the prerequisite for wealth is to survive. Su Miao sensed a very strong malicious intent from the aircraft. She instinctively took out the alloy staff and pointed it forward. A beam of magic burst out and pierced through the aircraft. The people with special abilities in the aircraft opened their eyes wide, unable to do anything. As the aircraft exploded, all became flying ash. If it is not surprising, it was the previous flight that ran too fast and did not notify his teammates. The nearby flying device discovered that the monitoring device here was not activated, so it ran over to offer its life. Su Miao lifted her long pink hair, took a step and walked several hundred meters away, heading towards the target direction marked by magic. So far, the magic mark is very stable. The location is clear, and the use of tracking magic can clearly see the trajectory of the aircraft remaining in the sky. After the aircraft stopped in the base, the team members came out, and they looked a bit drowsy. How did you feel? The same as the fighting for 300 rounds after returning. It was very tired. This is not fatigue. It's just a lack of strength in the whole body. No. We ate a lot of high oil, salt, and high protein strips when we were in the task. Don't mention this protein strip. It's all made of cockroaches. You are disgusting every time you think of. But I think you eat quickly during breakfast. I want to live. The team was silent for a while. And you? Next time don't talk if you can't. Captain stared at the nagging of the witch just now, and said angrily, such dangerous words really can't say. Witch Su Miao. Is that these little people are provoked? The older Su head in the team said, this. The captain. Let him not say that. It doesn't seem to be meaningful. Precognition? Captain looked at the old man, and looked at Xiao Jiang, who was capable in the team, and his heart was tight. Lao Su. Are you serious? Lao Su head said, Captain. Can't be kidding, such things like this. The captain took a deep breath and grabbed Xiao Jiang. What did you not finish saying just now? Xiao Jiang said, for a moment. I felt stared at it. Wouldn't it be a witch? Captain was hit by lightning. Were they being watched by the witch at that time? After they returned to the base, all became particularly fatigued. Is it also related to the witch? The witch Su Miao cast a curse on them. The captain's heart became colder. We must report to the top as soon as possible to let the people above block the witch. Just as he was about to leave, he noticed that the ability user Xiao Jiang was in a strange state. Do you know anything else? The nagging little ginger showed a fear. Which is coming. Which is coming. Everyone here is dead. Captain released Xiao Jiang's collar and sat on the ground, crying without tears. What is this? The violent energy scattered from his body, and the captain's body appeared very weird black lines. This is one of the signs of the abilities. Snap! Snap! At the critical moment, Lao Su opened his bow left and right, hit the captain's two pockets fiercely, and pulled back from the edge of the mutation. Captain! Calm down. We haven't died yet. The captain looked at old Su numbly and said with tears in his eyes, "Thank you." Lao Tzu's head grabbed the nagging little ginger again, patted the opponent's face, and let the other party calm down as much as possible. "Xiao Ginger. Calm. Don't be afraid. What do you say to do? We can live?" Xiao Jiang shook his head. "I don't know." "Don't know?" Lao Tzu said, "Don't worry. Don't be afraid. Think slowly. Use your ability. Help everyone find a living path. And just look at the way of several people." Xiao Jiang's ginger looked at the people present and seemed to see something. "Stay here." After speaking these 4 words, the little ginger sprayed a large mouthful of blood and passed out. Lao Tzu had said, "Stay here." Captain looked at Xiao Jiang, who was still vomiting blood, and looked at Lao Tzu's head. "Have a way to stay here?" Lao Tzu had said, "I believe, Xiao Jiang. This is our only way to live. If you have other ideas, I will not stop." There were a total of 12 people in the team. Several people looked at each other and did not know if they should believe in Xiao Ginger. But Xiao Jiang is usually very mysterious. Now, Old Tzu actually said that Xiao Jiang's ability is precognition, which is even more incredible. If it is really predicted, it will be cultivated by the base. But the only problem is that Xiao Jiang's predictive ability is probably exchanged with wisdom, because the daily Xiao Jiang is stupid. The IQ does not exceed the 9-year-old child, and it is very good to be lost as a lunatic. Probably this reason, the base does not formally cultivate Xiao Ginger. Some people were hesitating. Some were looking at the captain, and some were looking at Xiao Jiang, not knowing what to do. "Why are you back? Have you finished your work for today?" At this time, the supervisor responsible for the venue maintenance came over and said, "Is your aircraft faulty? If there is no failure, hurry up." As soon as the words fell, the sky collapsed, and half of the supervisor's body collapsed directly. The team of 12 people looked frightened and lay down collectively. There was a constant buzzing in my ears. The eyes were full of fear. Which, really here, magic marker, works really well. However, the marked target seems to be weak, because the marked goals will leave their traces during the activity. In order to make the traces left clear, they must consume more capabilities, which exacerbates the consumption of physical energy. If I remember correctly, the magic phantom clone referred to some blood magic when deducing the magic mark. Therefore, these talents will be so weak. Magic tracking. The effect is good. The use of magic tracking can make the traces left more clearly. Otherwise, Su Miao will not be able to come to this private base in such a short period of time. Su Miao took out the map on the mobile phone and compared it, and unexpectedly found that the coordinates of this base were not in the coordinates provided by the mysterious blonde girl. Luck is really good. Su Miao raised his hand, and an alloy staff appeared in his hand. Void collapse. One blow. The 2/3 of the mountains under Su Miao collapsed and became a terrible abyss. Huh? Su Miao noticed the ability of the team to be marked. I didn't expect these people to live. How to say it? These people are currently waiting very cleverly, and they have good luck to avoid death. 3 people inside were strong malicious. The alloy puppets shook, and a dozen ice arrows were launched to kill those 3 capabilities on the spot. The remaining abilities all showed an extremely frightened look. Some people were soft and stayed in place. 2 people turned around and ran, stepped on the air under their feet, and fell into the abyss. Finally, there are 6 people left. A coma, an old man, a bit of strength, but seeing obsessively stupid, and there are 3 pure legs soft and unable to move. Without malicious, Su Miao stopped paying attention, and her eyes looked at the abyss that was collapsed. At this time, the private base hidden under the mountain has been completely exposed. Big fireball. Many fireballs fall, illuminating the entire abyss, bringing some warmth to the private bases exposed below. Su Miao held the alloy staff with both hands, and the multi-magic array began. The devastating magic gathered in front of the magic array, compressed, and aggregated into a certain amount of time. Magic beam. Boom! A terrible Big Bang occurred under the abyss, and the Big Bang leads various energy explosions inside the base. Some people are lucky and are taken away in one wave. Some people are bombed, and they need to die for a while to die. There are more people screaming and wailing. I don't know what happened. Su Miao stood at a high place, and the alloy puppet waved a magical phantom avatars, and walked towards the ruins of the base. What happened? A powerful executive was awakened by the huge movement in the base. He rushed out bravely, and saw the magical phantom Su Miao walking towards him in the rolling dust. Pink Devil. He opened his mouth, wanting to escape, drilling the mantra. As soon as Su Miao raised his hand elegantly, he killed a malicious powerful ability. As usual, Su Miao walked everywhere like walking, and was exploding private bases, killing those who had malicious abilities and residents. Maybe it was because of the extreme cold blizzard and the disorder of the sun and the moon. Su Miao felt that there were very few people in this base. It may also be that most people collapsed in the void just now, and the magic beam hitting died. Which? You executioner. A person with a stronger strength jumped from a bomb all over the body, and tried to do everything with Su Miao. Su Miao raised his hand, and gave the opponent a small fireball, and stepped out of it at the same time, appearing outside 100 meters, hiding behind the obstacle. Boom! The terrible explosion sounded, and the high-temperature air waves would be familiar with several capabilities on the side. Pink Demon. Can you block Mercury? A capable person controlled Mercury, and attacked Su Miao. This is a Mercury. And the other party actually prepared concentrated sulfuric acid to prepare a fish to do a net. Flame gun. With just one strike, the opponent was blown up on the spot, and the flesh and blood turned into a fireball. Mercury and concentrated sulfuric acid squeezed the ground. Especially concentrated sulfuric acid has caused more explosions, making the air full of pungent smell. The most unlucky is the ability who rushed over to help. He was shocked by the explosion of the inflammatory gun, and was splashed with concentrated sulfuric acid. He screamed very much. Those who didn't know would think that Su Miao was abused, although this person was also malicious. It was really scary to call so loud. Su Miao simply supplemented him with an ice arrow and directly settled the other person's life. Su Miao continued to move forward without stopping. People who often destroy bases know that the easiest way to quickly paralyze a base is to destroy the base's energy center. The most direct way to make a destroyed base irrecoverable is to completely destroy the energy center. Therefore, Su Miao's current target is the base's energy center. In the office, a sturdy person with special abilities rushed in and said anxiously, "Boss Wu, they are all dead. The witch has come in." Wu Tinka said, "I know. But I didn't expect the witch to come faster than expected." The strong man with the ability said, "Boss Wu, why don't you just run away?" Wu Tinka shook his head. "Escape. It's too late. The witch won't give us a chance." The sturdy man with special ability said, "Boss Wu, how could this happen? The witch is heading towards the energy center. She has a chance to escape." Wu Tinka sneered. He calmly turned on the backup network monitoring, which happened to show the real body of the witch Su Miao standing outside the base. "You said the witch is heading towards the energy center. So who is standing here?" The sturdy man with the ability showed an extremely terrified look. "Boss Wu. How is this possible? Could it be that the witch Su Miao is really a pair of twins?" Wu Tinka finished the white wine in his glass and said, "Who knows?" The strong man with special ability said, "Boss Wu, then we have no choice but to fight." Wu Tinka smiled and said, "Uh-huh. You are right. It's a pity that I won't live long. But you are still young. Go and save yourself." The sturdy man with special abilities showed a worried look. "Boss Wu. What about you?" Wu Tinka said, The old man? Well, go to meet the witch Su Miao. Don't look at my age. An old dog still has a few teeth." The strong man was deeply moved. He wanted to say that he would go with Wu Tinka, but the words on his lips turned into, "Mr. Wu, take care. This old man must be trying to use me as bait. Hee. I'm well prepared." He left the office without looking back and ran for his life. Wu Tinka looked at the strong man who left and smiled. "Idiot. Do you think you can survive if you run back? Don't you know that all of us are the president's reserve food? If you go to the president, your abilities will only be devoured." Boom! There was a loud explosion. The earth shook, and the backup surveillance went dark in an instant. Wu Tinka stood up and straightened his clothes. The energy center of the base had been destroyed, and it was his turn to take action. According to the original plan, if the witch Su Miao attacked, he could escape through a special passage. But who the L would have thought that the witch would leave someone outside to guard when destroying the base. As for taking the president's channel, that means sending your life to CD Luo Dongjia and asking for death. He no longer has any way out. Wu Tinka's eyes became sharp, and his figure disappeared from the room in an instant. And when he reappeared, he was already in the corridor. After several flashes, Wu Tinka appeared behind Su Miao. "Witch, You shouldn't have come. Chapter 331 Others practice martial arts while I practice immortality. A cold light flashed. And suddenly the old man Wu Tinka appeared behind Su Miao. He had a long sword shining with cold light in his hand. The long sword stabbed out at high speed, trying to pierce Su Miao through. The 5-layer magic barrier was shattered in an instant. Su Miao realized it later, and narrowly avoided the sword. But Wu Tinka's sword turned at a very unfavorable angle, and slashed down at an inhuman speed. The sound of swords, sonic booms, and ruptured eardrums. Faced with such a fast sword, Su Miao had no time to use attack magic or defense magic. He could only move his feet and retreat 100 steps in an instant, barely avoiding the opponent's pursuit. Just keep your distance. Use all kinds of powerful magic to attack. And see how you... Su Miao raised his hand, ready to cast a heart-piercing curse on Wu Tinka. Unexpectedly, Wu Tinka smiled contemptuously, and he actually let go of the long sword in his hand. Then the long sword turned into a 3-inch flying sword, and turned into a stream of light, and pierced in front of Su Miao. Which, do you know why I am still alive and well? This is because others are practicing martial arts, developing gene locks, and studying the attacks of people with special abilities. But I, an old man, have been cultivating immortality. Wu Tinka's gaze suddenly became extremely sharp, trying to take Su Miao's life instantly. He was talking while making his moves, just to distract Su Miao. Those who practice martial arts must have seen it, but those who practice Taoism have probably never seen one. At the critical moment, Su Miao had to stop releasing the heart-drilling curse, and slightly turned his body to avoid the flying sword that was trying to take his life. Although her body is currently made up of pure magic power, the spiritual power contained in the flying sword can cause some damage to her body. She doesn't like getting hurt or anything like that. Magic is amazing! Wu Tinka was not surprised that Su Miao was able to avoid the flying sword attack. If the notorious pink devil Su Miao was so easy to kill, she wouldn't have come here, and she wouldn't have been publicly wanted by the president. Now, the only question is what is happening to the witch Su Miao who stayed outside. According to his understanding, the Su Miao in front of him should be a clone. The outside is the main body. If he can't even kill his clone, it would be extremely difficult for him to fight his original body. Sword light splits into shadows. Wu Tinka's sword technique changed, and the flying sword instantly turned into 16 streams of light, attacking from different directions at a faster speed. Seeing this, Su Miao continued to dodge and contacted his original body at the same time. Outside, Su Miao received the thoughts from his clone and understood what was happening below. There is actually an old man who practices Taoism in this base. He is good at using flying swords and possesses the tricky ability of moving through space. What's even more outrageous is that the clone's instant magic was easily blocked by the opponent. Sidi Luodongji's subordinates are really talented. Su Miao stretched out his hand, took out the silver sword from the magic space, injected more magic power into the silver sword, and threw it downwards after sensing the location of his clone. The silver sword turned into a streak of silver light and fell down. Wherever the silver light passed, the dust waves were cut in half like a surging river, and everyone avoided it. Which, you are one of the only 2 people in the world who know the secret of my cultivation. The others who knew are already dead, and you will be dead soon too. After destroying hundreds of ice arrows, Wu Tinka waved his sword finger, controlling the flying sword with every stroke. Looking at the witch Su Miao who was retreating continuously, his smile became more and more brilliant. I have to say that the witch Su Miao is really powerful. Not only can she avoid the attack of the supersonic flying sword, but she can also release ice arrows to counterattack when attacked by the flying sword. It is really terrifying. If it were an ordinary person with special abilities, he would have been killed by the witch thousands of times. Then there are the undead. Without the flying sword, he wouldn't be able to stop it. Now, all he had to do was use his flying sword to kill Su Miao. Wind and Thunder Divine Strike. Wu Tinka controlled the flying sword with one hand and performed a magic spell with the other. Suddenly, wind and thunder rolled in the sky and earth, and the terrifying thunder fell towards Su Miao. Affected by the wind and thunder, Wu Tinka's flying sword became more powerful and even more terrifying. With a flying sword in front and wind and thunder above, the witch Su Miao is in a desperate situation. But at this critical moment, Su Miao did nothing but looked up at the sky. Witch, are you giving up? Wu Tinka held his breath. He wanted to watch the witch Su Miao being beheaded by a flying sword and her body shattered by wind and thunder. Suddenly, a sharp sword light flashed, shattering the wind and thunder, and repelling the flying sword. It landed in front of Su Miao, and the sword made a shocking sound. Wu Tinka groaned and was knocked back by the powerful sword force. What's happening here? He looked at the silver sword falling from the sky in shock. One sword can break all the laws. That only exists in theory in novels. No one can do it in practice. However, this sword not only destroyed his wind and thunder divine strike, but also damaged the flying sword that was used to repair his life, and even traumatized his soul. Who's attacking? Wu Tinka was shocked and shouted loudly, hoping that the attacker would come out. But the next second, he looked at Su Miao in astonishment. Su Miao stretched out his hand and grasped the hilt of the sword. Are you kidding? A witch with a sword? This sword belongs to the witch Su Miao. Su Miao grasped the silver sword, and the magic power stored in the silver sword flowed into his body, and a dangerous aura spread out. Wu Tinka didn't know what would happen next, but he understood one thing: he had to strike first. Otherwise he might have no chance. He sprayed a bite of blood at the flying sword, and the sword tactic changed again, and the terrible current appeared on the flying sword. In order to refine this flying sword, he spent over 100 million yuan, which must die. Space movement. Suddenly, Wu Tinka disappeared, and the flying sword passed through the lighting of light current, intertwined into a mighty grid, and fell towards Su Miao, the witch Su Miao has nowhere to escape from the flying sword's electric net. At this moment, Su Miao was calm and waved the silver sword in his hand. In an instant, whether it was the clouds in the sky or the billowing smoke and dust produced by the explosion in the base, they all merged together in a very short time, turning into the yin and yang that rotated in the void. An extremely terrifying aura descended, suppressing Wu Tinka to the point that he could not breathe. Is this magic? No. This is not magic at all. Wu Tinka was shocked. Where the people in front of him were witch. A outrageous conjecture appeared in his heart. The witch Su Miao is a martial arts land fairy. Alas! Intelligence. There is no such one in the intelligence. Even President CD doesn't know this information. Wu Tinka felt like he was going crazy. No. It's crazy. All human beings are crazy. And the so-called end of the world is a fantasy that humans see before they go crazy and die. How could there be land immortals in this world? Totally impossible. But, thinking about it the other way around, since there are even powerful immortal cultivators like him, it is reasonable for someone to practice martial arts and become an immortal on Earth. No. How could that be reasonable? It is impossible for land immortals to exist. Right. Fake. All fake. This must be an illusion created by the witch using magic. Wu Tinka had a look of madness on his face. Seeing Su Miao at this moment, his Taoism heart was shaken, and strange black lines appeared on his body. The flying sword he controlled was covered with black flames and lightning intertwined, making it even more powerful. The cloud sword is unparalleled. Su Miao, who was at the center of the rotation of yin and yang, slashed down with a sword. In an instant, the nearly 30-meter long cloud sword fell, and the electric grid built by Wu Tinka's flying sword was shattered. Wu Tinka's expression changed greatly, and immediately moved the space to leave the original position. Boom! The cloud sword slashed down, splitting the already shattered ruins of the base into two halves, and the earth shook continuously. Looking at Wu Tinka, who used space movement to escape, Su Miao, holding the silver sword, was not surprised at all. After all, his opponent was a cultivator. The re-emerging Wu Tinka saw this horrible scene, and he wanted to escape. But will the witch give him this chance? Will not. I am an old man who cultivates immortality, so I still have a chance. Wu Tinka's heart was horizontal, holding the trembling flying sword, and decided to use his strongest kill. People swords together. Space movement. The next moment, he appeared near Su Miao again, ready to use space to move to completely cut Su Miao. Because this trick needs to call the ability, there will be many uncontrollable factors. For example, if you do uncontrol it, people and reinforced cement are fused together. In this case, if he can't respond, he will die. Just now, he has no better way. Which? Die! Space movement started again. Facing the missing Wu Tinka, Su Miao held the silver sword in his hand, and the clouds in the sky gathered and condensed into endless cloud swords around him. Endless cloud sword. At this moment, Su Miao seemed to have become a hedgehog wrapped by countless sword energies. Wu Tinka, who tried to move with space to cut Su Miao, appeared at the center of the sword gas package. The countless sword she collapsed. But Wu Tinka also reached the limit. He really wanted to kill him in one go. But if he continued, instead of Su Miao dying, he would be torn into pieces by the endless sword energy. Wu Tinka couldn't understand why Su Miao's sword energy could block the space. Is his spatial movement ability fake? Su Miao looked at Wu Tinka, who appeared, and the figure moved instantly. And Yin Jian passed forward. Suddenly, Su Miao killed Wu Tinka. Wu Tinka quickly used the flying sword to block. With a clanging sound, the flying sword broke into pieces and scattered all over the ground. Wu Tinka seemed to be hit by 1,000,000 tons of mud header, and blood couldn't stop spraying out. Su Miao originally wanted to go further, let the silver sword piercing the heart of the old man to make up for the last one. But he was afraid of being sprayed by blood, and he could only take it back. However, it didn't matter if he didn't make a finishing move. The moment he shattered the flying sword, the silver sword's edge burst out, and a sharp sword energy directly pierced through Wu Tinka's body. Wu Tinka stumbled back, and the flying sword, who had repaired his life, was broken, and his soul was severely damaged by unimaginable. His heart was pierced by the sword energy again, shattering his internal organs. His vitality has been completely cut off. The reason why he was still alive was simply because his strength as an immortal cultivator was still quite strong. At the beginning of the war, Wu Tinka used the lack of intelligence of the witch to the information, and played a wave of advantage output to easily pinch the avatar of the witch Su Miao. Unexpectedly, in the end, he couldn't even play avatar, let alone the ontology. Wu Tinka remembered the past. He is a person with powerful abilities, and a martial arts expert. He has killed such people before, and even those who have achieved martial arts grandmasters. However, someone like the witch Su Miao is really too beyond the scope. Apart from describing it as a land god, Wu Tinka couldn't think of any more words to describe it. Witch Su Miao, Pink Devil, Murderous Witch, Land Fairy, MD, Crazy, Crazy. The witch is a martial arts expert, a land immortal, and the president doesn't know it. Wu Tinka's eyes widened. He vomited blood and shouted out his last words, then fell straight to the ground. Su Miao held a silver sword and looked at Wu Tinka, who was falling, a little surprised. Can the old man of Xiaoxian can't even hold a sword? Is it that the martial arts secret book recommended by the mysterious blonde girl is too powerful? Or has she become even stronger? No. There is a special feeling in the battle just now. It should be her ability to awaken. What is it? Su Miao didn't think much about it. He raised his hand, and dozens of magic tentacles emerged and began to search for the corpse. 5 seconds later, 2 space storage devices were delivered to Su Miao. Take a look at it at will. The mage's hand directly threw one of the space storage devices. The space storage device was flying in the air, and was hit by the purple flame gun, exploding on the spot. The things inside were too bloody and brutal to look at. As for the other space storage device, it contained more than 3,000 cubic meters of energy ore, 2 secret books, a wooden sign, and nothing else. Shushan Sword Controlling Technique Commercial Edition. Spectral Sword Technique 3-in-1. The name of this secret book doesn't look serious no matter how you look at it. Su Miao flipped through them casually and understood why these 2 secret books were not serious. Shushan Sword Controlling Technique Commercial Edition was published by a Taoist temple in Shushan. Only the basic version is available. If you want a higher version, you need to go to the Taoist temple to become an apprentice. The apprenticeship fee is 150 million yuan. The Light-Splitting Sword Technique 3-in-1 is specially designed for use by immortal cultivators. The secret book is divided into 6 levels, and this book only provides the first 3 levels. To study later, you need to pay a higher tuition fee. The contact person and address are printed on it, but the contact information is from 60 years ago. Yu Jinjua barely has a reference value to Su Miao. By learning it, Su Miao's control over the sword can be improved. As for the spectral sword technique, what are the specific moves in it? Handsome, beautiful, should be used for performance, but the key actual attack power is not strong. No wonder it's so weak. Su Miao threw out a ball of purple flame, burning the old cultivator's body into ashes. By the way, make up for an ordinary starlight. Counting this old man is lucky. If Pei Xiaomei is there, Su Miao will definitely suggest that Pei Xiaomei controls the old man, and give Wu Tinka soul experience for the 18-layer H.L. package. This old ding is such a beast. Not far away, a capable person looked at Su Miao in horror. There is a hint of malice in this man. Scared, Su Miao raised his hand, and threw the silver sword into the sky. Then pointed at the man, and an ice arrow pierced the man's head. A few minutes later, where Su Miao lived, there was no living person. No, there are several survivors. Where above, Su Miao came to several survivors. Those who had the abilities of their legs and feet seemed to move. And they moved a few steps. From this angle and position, you must have seen her using a sword. Su Miao raised his hand and killed the two people in the movement. As for the rest, there was a person with special abilities who was obviously frightened, and an old man with his back to him. The old man is trying hard to wake up the silly ability user who is vomiting blood and unconscious. They look like a father and son, and there is no ill will towards them. Su Miao blinked his eyes, removed the magic marks on several people, and turned into pure magic power and returned to his body. It's time to go to the next coordinate. Chapter 332. The witch is crazy. Snap! Snap! Lao Su's head is too big mouse. And he wakes up the captain, who looks stupid and even drooling. Wake up. The witch is gone. We survive. The captain's name is Xiao Guangzhong. Even though he is a bit showy and foul-mouthed, he is not a bad person. Everyone in his team, no matter who encounters danger, he will save it. And he will not look at it like others and give up directly. To give the simplest example, the silly little Jiang and the old Su. One of them is silly and the other is old. Basically, no team is willing to take in these two burdens. In this case, not having a job means that you cannot get enough points in the base. Not only will you not be able to eat, but you will also be expelled from the base because the president's base does not support idlers. However, Xiao Guangyin took old Su and Xiao Jiang in and gave them a job and a meal. When taking in these two people, Xiao Guangyin never thought much about it. And he never thought that one day Xiao Jiang and Lao Su would save his life. Xiao Guangyin looked at Lao Su's head confused. Whispered, "I'm still alive? Isn't this 18-layer HL?" From his perspective, Lao Su's head was full of fire and smoke. "Isn't this flame HL? Throw it down. I dare not think about the later things." Old Su raised his big hand again, as if to hit. Xiao Guang was immediately avoided, and his face had swollen into bread. Knowing hiding, knowing pain. "Do you say it is HL or Earth?" Lao Su said, however. "This is the end. It is similar to HL." He continued to slap Xiao Jiang's people. But Xiao Jiang couldn't wake up. And it seemed that it was impossible to wake up in a short period of time. "I'm really alive?" Xiao Guangyin murmured to himself. At this time, he noticed the blood pool and the corpses of others, and said, "How did they die?" Old Su said, "I don't know about these few. But those few, they have all left their original places. Stay on the spot." Xiao Guangyin shuddered. "I understand." Lao Su's head said, "I don't know if I don't have to take out the aircraft in the space storage device. And no longer. We will die here for a while." Xiao Guangzhong took out the aircraft from the space storage device in a hurry to assist. Lao Su's head moved in the ginger. "Where are we going?" Entering the aircraft, Xiao Guangzhong sat in the driving seat and asked. "I don't know." Old Su shook his head. "But I know that I can't go to any of the CO's private bases. If I go there and the witch comes to find me, I'll die." Xiao Guangzhong touched his face and said, Lao Su's head, "Do you have a bottom with me? Do you have the ability to stop changes and even treat changes?" Old Su glanced at him and said, "Are you stupid? If I had this ability, would I be able to work with you?" Xiao Guangzhong said, "Thank you. I know where to go." The aircraft was suspended and left in the distance. More than 10 minutes later, Su Miao arrived at the next coordinate point. Looking at it, there is nothing to look like here. Without mastering magical perception, Su Miao might really be deceived. Su Miao held the alloy staff in his hand and pointed it downwards. Void collapse. Suddenly, the ice and snow covered by half of the mountains collapsed together, exposing the base hidden below. "Pink Devil." Someone inside the base cried out in surprise. The next moment, a beam of magic light pierced through his head. Just like before, Su Miao created a magical phantom clone, entered the base, and killed everyone. The base is relatively small, with only more than 600 people living here. It is confusing that whether it is the previous base or the base, everyone has a strong malicious malice to her. Su Miao suspects that these people are not all controlled by Si Luo Dongjie into the soul. Otherwise, how can this be? She didn't stay for too long. Killed the people with special abilities who blocked her way. and found the energy center. One blow. Destroy the energy center. Then, there was another void collapse, turning the huge base into an abyss. After killing a few scattered people with malicious abilities, Su Miao returned to the sky and transformed into pure magic power to return to his body. A few seconds later, the mountain collapsed and the remaining ruins of the base were buried by falling rocks and ice and snow. Next, Su Miao continued on his journey. With the experience of destroying private bases many times, Su Miao became more efficient in dismantling subsequent bases. Excluding the 3 hours of travel, it only took her 25 minutes to reach the remaining 3 bases. In addition, Su Miao harvested nearly 20,000 cubic meters of energy, or from a base. The land of CD is really rich. Unfortunately, after visiting 5 private bases, I still couldn't find CD Luo Dongjie. This made Su Miao feel pity. Su Miao couldn't feel at ease if he couldn't kill CD Luo Dongjie directly. It would be really scary if such a powerful person, who is determined to kill me, were allowed to live forever. At the door of the president's office, more than a dozen people with special abilities were wandering around the door, with worried looks on their faces. When they saw Secretary Tao Yujie coming over, they seemed to have found their savior. Secretary Tao. The president is angry. Someone gave a look and spoke with their mouths. Secretary Tao Yujie nodded to show that she understood. No one knew what was going on outside better than her. So she knocked on the door and walked into the office. The office was a little dark. CD Luo Dongjie sat on the sofa with his back to Tao Yujie, his eyes fixed on the big screen. There were multiple X's marked on the big screen, and each X represented a base that had lost contact. There are a total of 8 X's on it. 2 were hit by meteors. 3 were breached by blizzard and extreme cold. Another 3 were destroyed by the witch Su Miao. President. Secretary Tao Yujie walked in and saw the mark on the big screen. Her heart skipped a beat. Luo Dongjie didn't turn around, but just said calmly, "What's the matter?" Secretary Tao Yujie said, "We just received news that 5 of our bases have lost contact. According to the news from the front, these bases are suspected to have discovered traces of the witch Su Miao before they lost contact." Luo Dongjie said, "Synchronize." Secretary Tao Yujie immediately operated the computer and imported the new information. Soon, 5 XS appeared on the big screen. Luo Dongjie looked at one of the XS and asked calmly, "Where is Wutinka? This old guy has been hiding his strength. Is there no contact?" Secretary Tao Yujie said, "President, there is no news about Wutinka." "Haha. Old man Wutinka is dead." Luo Dongjie raised his hand. His fingers looked a little stiff. "Let them in." Secretary Tao Yujie said, "Yes." The door opened, and several powerful people who were waiting outside entered the office, looking extremely nervous. "Tell me about the situation." Luo Dongjie turned around, pointed at the big screen with a laser pen, and tapped the table. Zhao Ruju, who was in charge of intelligence, said nervously, "President, during the inspection just now, we found that our local area network had been hacked, and the coordinates of multiple bases had been browsed." Luo Dongjie lay on his back in the chair, looking at Zhao Ruju and laughing. "Has it been hacked? Ha ha ha. Do you still remember my order? The internal LAN is a local area network, and it cannot be connected to the external network." Zhao Ruju's body was shaking. "CEO, I just found out about this not long ago. I will take responsibility." Luo Dongjie nodded. "Just found out. It's interesting. Are you a waste?" He pointed to the map on the big screen behind him and said, "Look for yourself. Are there any bases that have been browsed? They were all taken by the witch Su Miao. They are all hacking dead. Can you take this responsibility?" Zhao Ruju's body trembled more and more. "President, Luo Dongjie looked at the others again. "What do you want to say?" Several people hesitated and couldn't say a word for a long time. Luo Dongjie held a laser pointer in his hand and said, "Okay, listen to my orders. Now, since witch Su Miao likes to destroy the base so much, let's give her a coordinate. Bury enough explosives inside, and send witch Su Miao to the sky. Base, let's choose this one. Let Hong Yuanqi be the commander-in-chief of this operation. And then The arrangement was over, and the people in the room were sweating, because this arrangement is very problematic. Someone stepped forward and said, "President, Hong Yuanqi has been detained in Tiangong City." Luo Dongjie threw the laser pointer in his hand to the ground, smashing it to pieces. "Waste! All of you are waste! Damn Tiangong City! Damn shelter number 1! You go against me every day. Sooner or later, I will blow you all up into the sky. And how many things have you? The losers. Concealed? Which one of you is the spy arranged by the librarian? Everyone fell silent. This kind of thing. Either you say it doesn't happen, or you dare not admit it even if you say it does happen. The current president, Luo Dongjie, is like a bloodthirsty beast. He wants to bite anyone he sees, and can bite off half of the body in one bite. Seeing that no one was saying anything, Luo Dongjie roared, I saved you from the Doomsday disaster, fed you with good food and various supplies, and trained you. And this is how you repay me? How dare you conceal intelligence? After roaring for a while, Luo Dongjie's expression eased a little. If you dare to conceal information today, will you assassinate me tomorrow? Ah? A little bit of kindness is a reward. A big bit of rice is a grudge. The ancients never lied to me. You three, stay here, and the others get out. Those whose names were called broke out in cold sweats, while those whose names were not called quickly left the office, as if they had been pardoned. Secretary Tao Yujia understood what the president was going to do. She walked at the end and closed the door. President, Zhao Ruju, who was in charge of intelligence, raised his head and wanted to say something to save him. Suddenly, 10 times the gravity was applied to his body. He was caught off guard and groaned. His heart exploded, and he died tragically on the spot. The other two were not as strong as Zhao Ruju. Facing 10 times the gravity, they died faster and more easily. Waste. Luo Dongjie came to the three bodies. He stretched out his hand and pressed it on Zhao Ruju's head, and his strange devouring ability was activated. In an instant, a special supernatural power was absorbed and flowed into Luo Dongjie's body. After a little experience, Luo Dongjie came to the other two corpses and devoured all their abilities. Your abilities are barely useful. He returned to his position. After the power was devoured, the corpse on the ground turned gray, as if it had been dead for many days, which looked very strange. At the same time, Secretary Tao Yujia pushed the door open almost on time. She skillfully took out a space storage device and put all three bodies on the ground into it. Boss, they are not fully mature yet, Secretary Tao Yujia said. These bastards were doomed to die the moment they concealed the information. If we don't kill them, they will die at the hands of the witch, Luo Dongjie said. Secretary Tao, is there any news on the matter I asked you to do? Secretary Tao Yujia said, news just arrived today. There is a space distortion phenomenon in this mountainous area. Some people claim to have seen green mountains, gorgeous palaces, scantily clad beauties, and herds of cattle and sheep there. After intelligence analysis and scientific comparison, it was confirmed that this is the remains of the old man of the mountain. The entrance will be opened in these few days. Luo Dongjie nodded, very good. The ruins of the old man in the mountain are about to be opened. Whether it is the librarian or the witch Su Miao, all the grudges can be settled together. Secretary Tao Yujia finished her report, bowed and left the office. The office fell silent again, with only the sweeping robot starting to clean up the remaining blood on the floor. March 1st, 2125. Midnight. This is the time when the officially announced Doomsday Prophecy blizzard. Extreme cold, sun and moon out of order will end. No one knows what new Doomsday disaster is about to come. Therefore, for their own safety, people with special abilities, whether they are strong or weak, hide in shelters and private bases, waiting for the world to change. It's just that the sky is bright, and no one will change into the night. There was no major earthquake. No meteorite crashed. The only change is that the temperature has changed from more than 50 degrees Celsius to about 6 degrees Celsius. Su Miao sat under the cherry tree and watched the temperature change outside the enchantment, and said nothing. Is the Doomsday disaster transformed? No. The blizzard and extreme cold may have passed, but the disorder of the sun and the moon has not. I don't know what the next natural disaster will be, and I'm really panicking. At this moment, the white sky was raining underground. Su Miao took a little rain and checked it. It was normal rain, not sour rain. What is the future natural disaster? If you can go online. Su Miao took out his mobile phone as usual and unexpectedly found that there was internet. His Royal Highness. There is a net. There is a net. The starlings flew out and cheered excitedly. Although she can transform into a human form. When she does, Lin Jiujiu and Xia Xiaoan will always hold her and touch her like she's their toy. It's unbearable. In desperation, The Bell brothers simply returned to its original appearance. Su Miao nodded and turned on the phone. Several notices popped up, explaining why the network can recover. A few days ago, countries have launched a new network satellite to space. This time, a total of 21 network satellites have been launched. At present, all 21 network satellites are activated and connected to ensure the survivors' network supply. Due to the blizzard, extreme cold, and the disorder of the sun and the moon, the global death toll has reached a new peak. Survivors, please unite together, help each other, and overcome the difficulties together. Chapter 333 Which? There is a kind of you who come here. There is internet. Su Miao was very happy to look at the network signal on the mobile phone. As a community, you don't want to communicate with people, but you are afraid of communicating with people in person. And communication on the internet is barely. Even if you don't talk to others on the internet, see what everyone is talking about, and what to say is a kind of communication. Su Miao opened Weibo. The message prompt was $9.99+. And Su Miao read it with one click as usual. Speaking of which, Weibo has become a lot cleaner since the Doomsday disaster. Marketing accounts, advertisements, etc. have all disappeared. The meaningless screen filling of celebrity activities is gone. The topic of false hype was gone. Instead, the real flowers are blooming. Su Miao wants to know the news of the world is much more convenient. Of course, in this case, all kinds of phishing and fraud are endless. When you browse these messages, just see it. At CE look, the sky suddenly turned white. It must not be me. At Fei Zue, friends, you don't need to wear a space suit when you go out. At Su Ri, it's daytime every day. I don't know if it's midnight snack at this time. At Moxian, the ruins of the old man in the mountain are about to be opened. Are there any team members who want to team up? Come to tank, heal, and output. One needs many greeds, and the distribution is fair. At Xianing Miming, the internet was disconnected for 3 months. I thought it would never be restored. I was shocked. At Guangyo Wandao, I found a nest of frozen mutant animals. I made a profit. At Tauransha Kinju, have you noticed that fewer people are online? At Potito 1024, there is a big base next to us. All the people in it were frozen to death. It's too tragic. At Benrin Kanaiduo, look. The Navy of the Daily Black which Su Miao is gone. How many people died in this wave is totally unimaginable. Indeed, none of me Black Me is gone. Su Miao exited Weibo and opened the Supper app. The Midnight Snack app is running normally. This operator is really amazing. There were some lags when she used Weibo just now, but the Yexiao app was very smooth. However, there was one thing that was the same as Weibo. There were no posts with Su Miao's rhythm here. Su Miao had a guess in his heart. Most of those who like to stir up trouble online live in the private bases that she destroyed. Now that these people are dead, naturally there is no one to control her. In addition, Su Miao understood why those people were full of malice when they saw her. They have rhythm on the internet every day, and their hearts have long been dark. They engraved with Su Miao's maliciousness. After seeing Su Miao himself, the maliciousness is not strong. Which Su Miao? There's a kind of you come here. Posted by, just woke up. When I woke up, I heard that the witch Su Miao destroyed 5 private bases in a day and killed nearly 10,000 people. Which Su Miao? Do you know how many people have died in this time? How difficult is it for everyone to survive? They finally had hope, but were killed by you. Since you like killing so much, I will give you the coordinates of a base under City's command. If you dare to come, I will kill you. Which Su Miao? There is a kind of you who come here. This is the coordinates. And there are outside. There is a kind of you who come to kill me. Attachments, base photo.jpg picture 1 picture 2 picture 3. On the first floor, Scarlet Natto, in the slot. 5 bases were destroyed within the day and killed so many people. On the second floor, Yao Xiaobei, CD is anxious. On the third floor, Uncle who stays at home and reads books during his leisure time. You are not afraid of death to expose your position like this. On the fourth floor, Sociology Gaba, in order to gain the trust of His Royal Highness. He even added so many photos. Fifth floor, Librarian, CD. You are so stupid. You even use this method. On the sixth floor, Fish and Fish, the ID upstairs is fake. Right? Seventh floor, CE, thumbs up for you. Eighth floor, Love at First Sight. Do all veteran driver organizations stab each other in the back like this? On the 9th floor. Ash erosion. Killing and killing. I want to see the blood flowing into the river. On the 10th floor. ECNCN. The performance of the old driver organization members broke my fantasy of the strong capabilities. They were so grounded. On the 11th floor. Cotton quilt added to my king, indeed. Only CD is working hard to be villains. And everyone else is paddling. 12th floor. Hey NL Priest, how can you say they are slacking off? They have time to waste time on the forum. 13th floor. Silver Fox Moonling, eh? Looking at this post, Su Miao looked weird. CD was really anxious. Since the other party was sincere and took the initiative to expose the location of the private base, she had to respond. Su Miao opened his mobile phone, entered the coordinates, and confirmed the direction and distance. This private base is only 150 kilometers away from her. Very close. She did not find such a close private base. Fortunately, the other party exposed herself voluntarily. Otherwise, various aircraft would discover her camp here sooner or later. Thinking of this, Su Miao walked out of the villa. In the courtyard, Lin Jiojio, Xiaoxian was practicing Tai Chi. Very serious. Gugu stood on the cherry tree, bouncing and ate cherry. You continue to practice. I will go out. Su Miao waved his hand, stepped step by step, and walked towards the target. 20 minutes later, Su Miao arrived at an area about 2,000 meters above the exposure base. It feels that this distance is a bit closer, and Su Miao retreats 1,000 meters. About there. There must be something wrong with the coordinates that were exposed voluntarily. Su Miao came here and did not intend to use the way to destroy other bases before. Because we had to destroy 5 bases in one day. We had to save some mana when destroying the bases. This time it was different. She only had to destroy a private base. Then, just use Starlight Bloom. Su Miao held the alloy staff with both hands. Pink long hair. And the layers of magic array began. The endless magic began to gather and compress. Suddenly, as soon as the sky was dark, the bright galaxy seemed to be pulled over. All of which were compressed under this blow. The stars are blooming. Boom! The bright galaxy bombarded out. And the bombardment area was bursting. And the huge hills disappeared with the base below. The devastating mushroom clouds rose. And the more violent energy raged, sweeping all directions. The mushroom cloud brought a flickering star. But there were not many stars. More white light. The darkness caused by the blooming stars was dispelled in an instant. Looking at the rising mushroom cloud, Su Miao realized something. CD, a beast, buried an oversized hydrogen bomb in this private base. Su Miao turned around and ran. The speed is faster than before. As for the radiation that might be produced by the hydrogen bomb explosion, Su Miao didn't have to worry at all. Because she has always had a magic space array deployed. And the magic power has been upgraded and optimized to cover her entire body. Radiation can't hurt her at all. Affected by the explosion of the super hydrogen bomb, the mountains near the center of the explosion disappeared. And all the ice and snow covering the mountains melted and vaporized. The rain clouds in the sky disappeared out of thin air under the influence of high temperature, and were replaced by mushroom clouds standing between heaven and earth. After retreating to a safe distance, Su Miao took out his cell phone and took several photos in succession. Such a spectacular sight is rare to see. Call. Su Miao looked at the photo and relieved. At this point, she found that the speed of escaping was not generally fast. And it seemed that it didn't matter if there was a flying magic. Terrible. So exciting. I didn't know if it was due to the explosion of the super hydrogen bomb, or for other reasons. Su Miao felt that the world was trembling and distorted. What's happening here? Su Miao looked at the source of Twisted. I saw the Twisted source covered with dense spatial cracks. And there seemed to be some abilities near the cracks. This direction and this location seemed to be the coordinates of the ruins of the old man in the mountain. Su Miao looked at the mushroom cloud again. If nothing unexpected happens, it was the explosion of this super hydrogen bomb that triggered a chain reaction, which would soon open the ruins of the old man in the mountain. Go back first and collect information online. Su Miao did not go over to take a look, but turned around and returned to the cherry tree magic circle. CEO's office. Secretary Tao Yujia knocked on the door and walked in. President. The super hydrogen bomb was fried. The circle was 30 kilometers, and no living person was detected. CD Luodongji said, I want the result. Secretary Tao Yujie glanced at the tablet in his hand. The current known news is Su Miao went to this base. After that, the super hydrogen bomb exploded, and it was not observed. However, according to information, Su Miao likes to surf the internet. As long as she is still alive, she will be able to survive, and we can be observed by us. The words have just been spoken. Secretary Tao Yujie saw the newly received news on the tablet. The news showed that Su Miao had started surfing the internet. Boss, Su Miao is still alive. Ha ha ha. Luo Dongjie clapped his hands. Good. Really good. She can't be killed even by a super hydrogen bomb. She is worthy of being the witch Su Miao. Secretary Tao Yujie said, President, there is also an intelligence here, affected by the explosion of the super hydrogen bomb. The remains of the elderly in the mountains are suspected to be opened in advance. Luo Dongjie's expression condensed. According to the original plan, everything is solved in the relics of the elderly in the mountains. Yes, Secretary Tao Yujie said, President, about the destruction of the Luo family base. There is the latest information here. Luo Dongjie's face became cloudy. This incident cast a shadow over Luo Dongjie's life. His parents, his relatives, his wife, and his children were all in the Luo family base. But, after that day, all of that disappeared, because the entire base was destroyed by the witch Su Miao. No one survived. Every time he thought of this, Luo Dongjie's hatred for Su Miao would increase, and he wished he could cut Su Miao into pieces. He is the place of the 12 divisions. The Doomsday world is a giant who can call the wind and rain. But who can think of a giant like him can't even protect his relatives? In order to revenge, Luo Dongjie tried his best to investigate Su Miao. When he found Su Miao and his parents, he was ecstatic. He wanted to make Su Miao experience the same pain. However, after further investigation, Luo Dongjie couldn't wait to destroy the number 1 shelter, because Su Miao's parents disappeared during a mission, and many scientists disappeared with them. That place is called Tiandamen. Luo Dongjie did not give up and sent people to investigate several times, but to no avail. Therefore, Luo Dongjie was left with only one choice, which was to kill Su Miao and take revenge. However, in addition to this, Luo Dongjie has a doubt in his heart. The Luo family base is very hidden and has sufficient daily resources, so there is no need to move around outside. However, why did the Luo family base conflict with the witch Su Miao and eventually led to the destruction of the Luo family base? After many investigations, Luo Dongjie got a key clue, and some people passed the witch Su Miao's intelligence to the Luojiao base, in order to seize the witch Su Miao's ability to control mutated plants and produce food. The Luo family base took action. Then, the entire Luo family base was destroyed by the witch Su Miao. He once issued an order that no one was allowed to leave the Luo family base unless they were in danger of destruction. Now, it is too abnormal because of an intelligence. What Luo Dongjie wanted to investigate was the source of this information. Who dares to disturb his territory? President, the organization that sent Su Miao's information to the Luo family base is a strange organization. Secretary Tao Yujie said, the ability of this organization is composed of a very special ability. The ability inside is very strong, and it is suspected to have a strange pattern of a mutant monster. In order to cover the strange patterns, they are used to wearing a black robe, but they will leave such a special mark on the robes. They are ghosts in various places. The main purpose is to collect items related to ancient times. This is detailed information. The information was projected directly onto the big screen, allowing Luo Dongjie to see everything at a glance. Luo Dongjie said, some of the information about the Luo family base will be deleted, and the rest will be uploaded to the 12 departments for intelligence sharing. Secretary Tao Yujie said, yes. Luo Dongjie's expression became very dangerous. If you like to collect ancient items in ancient times, then the relics in the mountains, these people will definitely come? Kill them all. The temperature rose, and the light rain was split, and the global ice and snow began to melt. A lot of oxygen and nitrogen that had turned into ice and snow returned to the atmosphere due to the melting of ice and snow, allowing the world to gradually return to normal. Due to the extremely cold snowstorm this time, the disorder of the sun and the moon was too serious to the earth, and nearly 99% of creatures were extinct under this wave of natural disasters. Humans, mutant animals, mutant plants, microorganisms, all are spared, and there are very few survivors. For safety reasons, people who are not strong enough should still wear space suits when going out. Otherwise it is easy to suffocate at high altitudes. As the news of the opening of the old man in the mountain ruins spread, more and more aircraft arrived nearby. At the beginning, the ability to arrive in the nearby tent was pierced nearby. Later, some abilities directly released a mobile villa. As more and more people came here, it developed into a town of neither large nor small size. There are black people, white people, yellow people, and beast-sized capabilities here. But no matter which kind of person, it is very strong. At the beginning, everyone kept a distance and was vigilant. But for a long time, some capables leaked and the dispute broke out. After all, abandonment is open, and the things in it are limited. It is always good to have less competitors. But today, someone offended the wrong person. Several books fell on the ground. Sishu turned around and smiled slightly. Just now. Do you see it? Chapter 334. So many strangers. Scared. Master Sishu, please spare our dog's life. I am a leg running. Not valuable. The targeted ability user knelt on the ground and begged for mercy at the speed of light. I have a little ability, and I will definitely show it well. Sishu smiled slightly and said, don't be afraid. Just scare you just now. Get up. Let you do it. Oh, what is your name? Those who kneel on the ground immediately answered, Master Sishu. The little man is called Xiao Wei. Just call me Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao? The secretary thought of something funny and chuckled. Xiao Su, go inform CD that the ruins of the old man in the mountain will be opened at 12 noon 3 days later. Ask him to come on time. Don't try tricks like stalking, surveillance, and poisoning during this period. They are very dangerous. Xiao Wei cowed out repeatedly, yes. Thank you, Master Shushu, for sparing my life. He quickly fled to report. However, what he did not find was that there was a book around Sishu that was opened. There was an extra line of words on the book. Chiaosu didn't know that he had already turned into a book. But the librarian let him out so that he could continue to walk around outside. If the librarian wanted to kill him, he only needed to destroy the book. Quality is okay. Sishu collected all the books on the ground and walked towards the town in a cloak. Someone at the dark glanced at the secret place and did not dare to take any action. They clearly saw that Sishu had gone to a group of murderers, and few people to that camp could come out. As a result, the lovely librarian came out, and the camp of the gang of criminals became extremely quiet. This was problematic no matter how you looked at it. In addition, the outdoor temperature is 6 degrees Celsius. But it is raining, and the ice and snow remaining on the ground are melting, and the outdoor is very cold. However, the librarian was wearing very little, and not even the white silk he wore was stained with mud. This is too unscientific. Arriving in front of a movable villa, the two people with special abilities standing at the door looked at each other and stretched out their hands to stop them. Friend, this is not the place you should come to. The librarian tilted her head, her beautiful blue twin ponytails moving slightly. But you all said I'm a friend. If I'm a friend, why can't I come? The two people with special abilities were stunned for a moment. When the book came over, they noticed. The girl with blue twin ponytails in front of me dares to wear so little in such cold weather and dress so beautifully. She walks unscrupulously among a group of dangerous people with special abilities. But no one dares to provoke her. This shows that she is very dangerous. Therefore, they are very alert to see Shu. Friends, please don't embarrass us. Okay. Your boss Evans is my friend. He has an appointment. You can go in and confirm it. Sishu held a book and said politely, hold on. The people guarding the gate looked at each other and took out their intercoms to ask for instructions. Soon, an urgent voice came from the intercom. Be polite. You all must be polite. If anyone dares to be impolite, I will strip him naked and throw him into the glacier to fish. Yes. The guard looked shocked. For the first time, they heard the boss's anxiety and even panic. You know, normally, no matter who comes, the boss never speaks in a good tone. Compared with the person in front of him, it seems like he is facing an extremely terrifying unknown existence. Miss, please. The two guards immediately opened the door and respectfully invited the librarian in. The librarian smiled slightly and walked into the villa holding the book. Soon, an old professional housekeeper from the UK came over and bowed to salute. Miss Su, I haven't seen you for a long time. Please, Sishu said. Oh, Mr. ATR. I haven't seen you for a long time. How about it recently? Butler Arter said, thanks to you. I am lucky enough to survive. The librarian asked, did you bring the things I asked you to find? The butler Artel said, it has been brought. The Count suffered a lot and offended many people for this thing. The librarian smiled and said, well, just bring it with you. When we arrived at the living room with a lit fireplace, Evans, dressed neatly, was already standing in front of the dining table waiting. Ms. Su Chung. Long time no see. Without further ado, Earl Evans took out a long box from the space storage device. Here is what you were looking for. He put the box down, then realized something and said quickly, I'll open it right away. Because of excessive nervousness, mistakes even occurred during the first operation. Fortunately, it opened successfully. Inside was a broken sword. Although this sword has been broken, it can be seen that this sword is made by the elves. According to the clues provided by Ms. Sue Orange, we found this lost elf sanctuary. But I did not expect that in the era of ancient mythology, there was really an elven on the earth. Looking at the sword, Earl Evans was very excited, if possible. I hope to have a chance to visit the place where the elves live. He remembered a novel about the elves in Middle-earth. In the novel, there is a halfling who saved the world and was taken to the place where the elves lived. The half-body person, who had only lived in his life, was in a carefree manner in the place of the elves. And he also thought. The librarian opened the book, and the holy sword of the elves on the table turned into a point of light and was collected into the book. There will be a chance, provided you survive. Earl Evans' expression changed drastically. He immediately knelt down. Miss Sue Orange, please show mercy. My life can play a role. The librarian took a step back and said, don't be nervous. I didn't say I was going to kill you. I just wanted to tell you that the ruins of the old man in the mountain are very dangerous. If you insist on entering, you will die very quickly. Oh, no. As long as you stay here, you will most likely not survive more than 3 days. Thinking of someone who is about to arrive, the librarian said with a smile. Earl Evans said, thank you Miss Sue Chung for not killing me. I will leave here immediately. No one knows the weight of the blue double ponytail miss in front of him. Saying that he will die here. So he will die, the librarian said. Well, smart people always live long. She opened the book and flew out a map. This is the site of the last black temple in the world. What you want is inside. Earl Ernst trembling the map with both hands. Praise the goddess. Praise Miss Sue Orange, the librarian said. You have 6 months to go to this Blackwood temple. After 6 months, a new world will be opened and you can go inside to look for traces of the elves. If you want to go, I will notify you. Earl Evans was extremely excited. Thank you, Miss Sue Chung. Sishu smiled. Okay. I have to leave, Count Evans said. Miss Sue Orange, don't you stay for dinner? I have prepared a lot of treasures here. Sishu waved. No. Evans sent Sishu out of the villa. When he couldn't see people, he fell to the ground again. The fear on his face could not dissipate for a long time. And he almost became a character in Miss Sue Orange's script. Butler Arter said, Count, Miss Sue Chung has left. Evans nodded. And after a while, he came back. Call everyone. Pack it. And leave here immediately. The butler ATL didn't ask about any reason and said, yes, I will arrange it right away. Their actions are fast. It took 15 minutes since packing to evacuation. The librarian who was observing the crack in the pitch-black space glanced at the departing aircraft and nodded. You are so obedient. See, Luo Dongjia looked at Xiao Yan, who was standing in front of him, and was horrible. After the bases were destroyed one after another, and even the super hydrogen bomb failed to kill the witch Su Miao, Luo Dongjia suspended his men's actions. Because the ruins of the old man in the mountain are about to be opened, and Su Miao and Sishu will both be there. He plans to wait at the ruins of the old man in the mountain. All grudges are resolved together. However, with still a few days to go before the opening of the ruins of the old man in the mountain, the people who were sent out first came back unexpectedly, and through some unknown channel, they found his temporary resting camp. This is so hacking weird. The ability who followed the coming to hearing about Sishu's information and did not dare to stop. So Qiao Wei came to Luo Dongjia. Boss, I have important information about the librarian. Xiao Yan looked at Luo Dongjia and was uneasy. Explain? Luo Dongjia stared at Xiao Su and said lightly. Xiao Wei immediately replied, I met the librarian. She killed my teammates and left me here to report. She said the ruins will be opened at 12 noon 3 days later. Please go there on time. Also, please don't follow, monitor or poison us during this period. It was unclear whether Luo Dongjie was angry or happy on his face. Go back and tell the librarian that I will arrive on time. Xiao Wei said, yes, President. Looking at Xiao Yan, who came to report, Fei Shizhua, who was standing on the side, felt very puzzled. President, why didn't he kill him? He might have a bookmark on his body. Luo Dongjie said, how do you want to kill someone who is already dead? Fei Shizhua's face showed horror. 3 days? It's neither fast nor slow. Su Miao has been browsing the midnight snack AP these days. This coordinate point occurred at a super hydrogen bomb explosion. Posted by Stargato. Didn't anyone post a post to call the witch's Royal Highness Su Miao? Let His Highness witch over. Not long after the post was published, I observed through a telescope that a super hydrogen bomb explosion occurred at this coordinate point. It was so hacking terrifying. I tried to contact the poster but couldn't get through. Does anyone have any clue? Attachment, super hydrogen bomb explosion.jpg. On the first floor. Castle come, I know this problem must be destroyed by His Royal Highness. On the second floor. Following the Wind Traveler, the super hydrogen bomb is used. It is really cruel. On the third floor. Ejin Love, His Royal Highness will be fine? On the fourth floor. Ly===1. The land will be announced successfully. No announcement. It must be okay. Fifth floor. I just made it up. Old driver organization. Do they even have super hydrogen bombs? This is too scary. On the sixth floor. Tao Ran Chin Chin Wine. I want to see the old driver's tissue spines. Is this post phishing again? It looks like someone from CD deliberately posted this to confirm whether she is alive. They are very proficient in similar things. Of course. Maybe not. But no matter what. Su Miao did not reply. Her main focus at the moment is on news related to the old man of the mountain's ruins. At first, there were basically no related posts on the forum. But in recent days, there have suddenly been a lot of them. Su Miao was very familiar with this situation. And it was likely that someone was behind the scenes fanning the flames. Maybe it is CD. Maybe anyone else. Real reports of the old man in the mountains. Posted by Lu Su. Recently, the relics of the old man in the mountains attracted the attention of the global strong. This is completely different from the opening news of some cave and sky relics some time ago. The strong men currently discovered are the Black Magician Lauren Cobia, Earl Evans British, the Blood Cross Sword Knight, the Desert Butcher Odbio, the Machete Assassin Hobbies, etc. However, the British Earl Evans, for some unknown reason, suddenly packed up and left. Some of Evans' collaborators were outraged. In addition, there were suspected to be some cultivators outside the ruins, as well as some people with special abilities in the shelter. These people are very strong and low-key. If you know them, please add your information in the comments below. When I meet them, I will avoid them. The people with special abilities in the camp are saying that the ruins of the old man in the mountain will be opened at 12 noon 3 days later. The news is not verified at present. If you want to enter the ruins, you can prepare. On the first floor. Oriental Demon Misty Rain. Everyone. I see a blue double ponytail girl holding a book. So beautiful. Cute. I want to pinch her face. Second floor. Potito 1024. Front row. Floor 3. Gray Eclipse. Kill. 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 I want to see a river of blood. Floor 4. CE. Floor 1. You have really good taste. You even want to pinch Sishu's face. On the 5th floor. Gold Coiny Garbage. On the 1st floor. You are brave? 6th floor. By Yumming, leave a claw. Floor 7. Let Yongnai be dyed with my color. Odibio was very fierce. He fought with an African Lion King for 3 days and 3 nights and killed the Lion King. 8th floor. Meow 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 meow. I know a little about Evans. He killed a vampire prince in the Merlin ruins in Europe. Stole an elf sword. And offended many forces. If he goes back at this time, something must have happened to his old nest. On the 9th floor. Fish and fish. I don't know anything else. But I see a group of people wearing robes. Each of them carry a sword and hold a dust. They are Xiao Xian? On the 10th floor. Dabo Chicken Second Try Lang. What are the relics in this relic? On the 11th floor. Say and believe in. Praise the sun. But the sun is eternal. Floor 12. Sheer who thinks of falling stars. I don't dare to go. I can only post here and watch everyone else's dungeon. On the 13th floor. Eat her rainforest. The ruins have opened a group. Come to Tan. Output. Treatment. It is best to have a few powerful beast-sized ability. 23 is equal to 7. 14th floor. Meow bug. The library manager has appeared. So the district manager will come too. Right? On the 15th floor. Bei. Xuanqiu. Seedling will come. Does it mean that the witch Su Miao will also come? Su Miao looked at the post and ate a strawberry silently. So many strangers went to the ruins. Scared. Chapter 335 Killing. The scene is strong. India's A. Sharma and Styx are fighting. The ruins are not opened. And people with special abilities from various countries begin fighting. I hope that His Royal Highness will come early and let the order of the inlet of the ruins recover. Roughly estimated, there are about 3,200 people with special abilities gathered at the entrance of the ruins. Too many people. Su Miao was scrolling through the posts, thinking about when to go to the ruins of the old man in the mountain. It was too early. She was scared of so many unfamiliar people with special abilities. She went too late. And she was worried that the flying magic book she was looking for might have been stolen. She was really conflicted. Sister Su Miao, can we go to the old man's ruins in the mountains? Lin Jiujiu asked after finishing his homework. She wanted to ask this question a few days ago, but she was worried and complicated. And I asked until today. Su Miao did not answer, but instead set his gaze on Xia Xian. Sister Su Miao, I want to go too. Xia Xian clenched his fist and said. It can be seen that Lin Jiujiu, Xia Xian made sufficient psychological preparation. However, the news that CD Luo Dongjia will go to the old man in the mountains means that the relics of the old man in the mountains will be very dangerous. Let alone that there are strong people in the world this time. Do you have what you want in the ruins? Su Miao thought for a moment and asked. Lin Jiujiu and Xia Xian looked at each other and were stunned. It seemed that they didn't need anything. They went to the old man's ruins in the mountains because they wanted to help Sister Su Miao. But, can I really help Sister Su Miao by going there? Lenovo think of the battle previously encountered. If they really encounter a powerful enemy, they will be defeated at the beginning. There are a loss to the edge. Otherwise their little life will be lost. If not, you can stay here. Su Miao said. Bell brother enters the ruins with me. Xia Xian's reading. Lin Jiujiu's dream concert helped her a lot, and could inadvertently solve a lot of trouble. However, the person to deal with this time is CD. The remains of the elderly in the mountains will definitely erupt extremely horrible battles, and it will be very dangerous to follow. Su Miao added, however, even if you stay here, pay attention to it. Maybe those who have the ability will find this and launch an attack on you. Lin Jiujiu. Xia Xian nodded. Well, Sister Su Miao, you have to be careful too. Su Miao smiled. I will. Time flies, and in the blink of an eye it is time to open the ruins of the old man in the mountain. Near 12 noon. Various dark space gaps in the sky in the direction of the old man in the mountain spread like a web. A more vivid way to put it is that these space cracks are falling like broken pieces of glass, gradually opening the door to the ruins. Sishu stood on a villa that was not close or far looking at the cracks of the space, and his eyes were full of curiosity. Regardless of what angle, the security system of the old man in the mountains cannot be compared with the cave in the mythology of the dragon state. Surprisingly, there is no trace of CD. Are you afraid of being beaten to death by Su Miao? As for Su Miao, it is understandable that he didn't come now. The strength is so strong, but it's so fearful. Social fear. Sishu holds the book and does not want to evaluate. It doesn't matter if those people come. It doesn't matter. The librarian looked at the time and saw that there were only 3 minutes left before the ruins of the old man in the mountain were opened. She left the villa and walked towards the entrance of the ruins. Suddenly, a 180 centimeters tall bearded man with a strange smell all over his body came out. Beautiful girl. Are you alone? Do you need the protection of the powerful Barus? This smell is too bad and disgusting. Sishu frowned. The next second, the powerful ability of Barus directly exploded into a blood mist. She was somewhat thankful that this was not a bus from the airport back to the city. Otherwise she would go crazy riding in the same car with such a person. Before the end, Sishu had experienced such an experience. And since then, it has become her psychological shadow. Remember to sit on the bus with many people like a beard. Each of them weighs more than 200 kilograms. Each one occupies 2 to 3 positions, and does not care whether the people who get on the bus have no seats later. Although people who get on the bus later may not want to sit with these people who smell terrible. It's really disgusting. Nausea. Sishu jumped away with his nose like a deer. You killed Barus. The 3 fierce strongmen rushed out. And it seemed that it was a group with Barus. Do you want to get revenge? The book took a step back, ready to open the book holding. The smell of these people is too heavy. His Royal Highness, please take us as a younger brother. The 3 strong men knelt on one knee and performed the chivalrous salute. This operation was unexpected by the librarian. She almost opened the book and killed him. Your Highness, please accept us. We are willing to do anything, even if it means dying for you, said 3 fierce-looking strong men. I'm sick. Sishu held the book, covered his nose, and threw a piece of soap and said, 5 minutes. Go there. Wash off the smell on your body, and then come to report it. The 3 fierce heroes said, Yes, His Royal Highness. They grabbed the soap and rushed directly to the icy lake that the librarian pointed out, jumping in without any hesitation. Sishu walked away with his nose, and was smoked just now. As the librarian left, a sturdy man asked, Brother, Barus was killed by her. So is that the end of it? He only asked, and found that the elder brother was really taking a bath, and was washed very seriously and efficient. I rubbed all the places that could be rubbed with soap. It's definitely the case. The strong man who was taking a bath seriously said, Hurry up and take a bath. Don't waste time. Another strong man said, Brother, she has left. Shouldn't we take this opportunity to run directly? The strong man who was taking a shower seriously wanted to beat up the 2 brothers. Damn! Didn't you see how Barus died? He didn't even get touched. And suddenly he exploded into a ball of blood mist and disappeared. Aren't you afraid of death? He handed over the soap and said, No matter what, this girl is definitely not a simple person. If we follow her, we may get something special in the ruins. If we don't follow her, we will be the next Barus. The 2 brothers nodded and began to take a bath seriously. The ice water was cold, but it was nothing to people with special abilities like them. Just the elder brother who persuaded him. They did not find that a capable shadow standing on the ice lake, and the shadow stared at them so quietly. Suing just raised his hand and was ready to kill. Boom! Suddenly, a thunderous, mottled and broken space disappeared, and replaced it with a special door. The gate seems to be formed by the clouds and water curtains, and it seems that it is not much different from the game copy. The door is open. Writes, Chong, everyone, get out of the way, and let Lord Avadif go in first. Those who are blocking the way will think twice. In just a moment, people with special abilities swarmed in, ready to rush into the ruins and find the reward. Sishu stood aside with the book and watched these people rushing in. Whether it is a relic or a tomb, it is true that there are good things inside, but there are also mechanisms and traps. These brave abilities want to go in advance, and let them go advanced. At the same time, a flying vehicle arrived above the entrance to the ruins. The moment the hatch opened, the aura of a person with powerful abilities swept across the entire place. Sidi Ludongji brought 30 powerful people with special abilities to the entrance of the ruins. Sishu, I didn't expect you to go directly, Luo Dongjia said. As soon as the aircraft arrived, Luo Dongjia noticed the librarian standing at the entrance of the ruins. 3 strong men with special abilities, who had just finished taking a shower and changed into clean clothes, happened to arrive nearby. When they heard Luo Dongjia addressing the librarian, their hearts almost jumped out of their chests. Damn it. They actually wanted to cause trouble for such a big shot just now. Barus died too timely. If they rush with Barus, they will definitely die with him, the secretary said. CD, I advise you to go back. As a member of the 12 departments, I really don't want to collect your body. This will increase the difficulty for us to execute our plan. CD laughed. Sishu, I wanted to kill you directly, but I changed my mind. The librarian shook his head. You can't kill me. At least not here. Fei Shizo, who was standing next to CD, took a step forward, and he was directly ready to do it. But he was stopped by CD. Hee. Isn't this Xiufei? Sishu said while holding the book. CD, Xiufei is the only one left among the 4 heavenly kings around you. Where are Feng Zongwen, Hong Yuanqi, and Wu Tinka? CD said. Sishu, I finally warn you. Don't intervene. Sishu smiled slightly. Rest assured. Except for helping you collect the corpse. I will not have extra movements. On the contrary. I want to remind you that the witch Su Miao is coming for a while. Are you sure you have to wait for her at the entrance of the ruins? CD snorted coldly and waved his hand to the ruins. Playing at the door is not possible. However, the witch Su Miao may bond together with the door of the ruins, which will cause the space to mess up, which will be tricky. The secretary waved his hand, watched CD leave, and then looked at the other people who entered the ruins. Your Highness, we are back. The three brothers of the strongman reported uneasily. The librarian asked, What are your names? The leading strongman said, Your Highness, my name is Bai. He is Bal, and he is Basa. The librarian said, It's a nice name. Follow me. But remember not to have any malicious or messy thoughts towards anyone. And stay away from me. The three strongmen took 3 steps back and said, Yes, Your Highness. They wiped their sweat. Especially Bai. After their return was loyal. The imaginary shadow standing beside them did not continue to stare. Horrible. Do you know the people below? Sishu held the book and looked at the people who walked into the ruins below. Bai immediately said, Yes, Your Highness. The one in the black robe is the black magician Lauren Kobia, who is very powerful. That black man was the desert butcher Odbio. He pulled bananas before the last time. During the rain and flood, he had a blood war giant crocodile in the river for 3 days and 3 nights. Those wearing armor are members of the Blood Cross Sword Knights. They are from the Vatican and are very vicious in chopping people. The whole body wearing a cloak is a machete assassin Ubis, who believes in ancient fire teaching. Those Taoist priests are Xiao Xian and can't afford it. It seems that there is no strength, but there are any strong ones at the scene. The door that a few people know is really interesting. Sishu asked, Do you know the witch Su Miao? Bai, Bal, and Basa were shocked. The body is trembling. Well, I know. The book said. Remind you again? When she will come over. If you don't want to die, it is best not to think about anything. Yes, Your Highness. Bai, Bal, and Basa nodded like chicks pecking at rice. I knew that there were so many big guys who would come. What kind of excitement did they come to the ruins? Which, as the two were talking, the figure of the witch Su Miao appeared in the sky. Belong flew beside Su Miao. The old man of the mountain ruins will be opened at 12 noon sharp. Although I don't know why someone can accurately predict the opening time. So many people say that it must be reasonable. Therefore, Su Miao was better, and decided to avoid the peak period. I didn't expect to avoid the peak period. And there were so many people at the door of the ruins. Su Miao stretched out the cold look and overlooks below. There are maliciousness below. Bing arrow. Hundreds of ice arrows fell. And dozens of people with special abilities died on the spot. Witch? Are you crazy? The murderous witch is coming. The murderous witch is coming. This is not Dragon Country. Pink Devil. Don't be so presumptuous. The Pink Devil of Dragon Country must be delicious enough. Drilling the mantra. The most malicious person stared at Su Miao in the sky. And he was taken away all his consciousness by the pain of his heart without thinking. He thought Su Miao would attack with ice arrows, and was ready to hide. In the end, I saw nothing. He is happy. The Pink Devil will be blunt. So he didn't hide. He died. The ability to avoid Su Miao's attack just now saw the scene like an enemy. And was terrified. Escape. I don't know who shouted like this. Some people fled outside. And some rushed towards the remains of the old man in the mountains. Bai, Bal, Barcelona stood beside Sishu. His body trembled. For fear that the next death was them. Don't have any thoughts. They did it. However, the inner fear cannot be controlled at all. The witch of the dragon state. Su Miao. What they know is where to go, and where to kill. The private base destroyed multiple. And even the mutant beast hide. The insect disaster was eliminated. It's simply unimaginable. But in any case, they thought that when they arrived in the mountains, in the face of international strong men, the witch Su Miao should be afraid of the powerful capabilities from various countries. The result of it? Is it ready to be cleared when you are present? They wanted to escape. However, standing next to His Royal Highness, they dare not move. Fear is normal. It's okay. Won't die. The librarian smiled slightly. Looking at the witch Su Miao's killing. She opened the book in front of her and enjoyed it very much. What do you run? What do you run? A group of dregs. Going again, the garbage output in the sky. Is it useful to escape? Trash. Damn bird. Many of the ability to escape. Hearing this junk, stopped involuntarily, and looked at Bai angrily. Even because of the anger in his heart, he temporarily forgot his fear of the witch Su Miao. Su Miao blinked. Mina's taunting ability has become very strong. With a shake of his hand, he swung the alloy staff. Magic beam. Boom. Chapter 336. Kill, 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 kill. Madman. Hundreds of magic beams were bombarded, and those who were below were dead. The attention of many of them was on the sky in the sky, and it was too late to find that the witch Su Miao's attack arrived. Many people fell down without even having time to scream. In this wave of attacks, only 5 or 6 people with malicious abilities managed to avoid it. There is a problem with this one brother. A capable person shouted loudly. He wanted to remind others that let others take measures to escape at this opportunity. However, my brother is not used to him. Sun thief. Look at wings. Without any warning, a dark shadow flashed before my eyes. By the time the person with special abilities reacted, his head had already fallen off. Damn bird. Sneak attack. He had been on guard against the witch Su Miao from the beginning to the end, and never thought that the starling that interfered with their judgment could be so cruel. The sudden change made several surviving capabilities rushing. At this moment, they did not have any thoughts, and they fled when they turned. You idiots. You can't escape. Benny attacked like lightning, and in a blink of an eye, he killed all of the remaining capabilities. Bai's body was trembling. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of capabilities from all over the world were killed by the witch Su Miao. What puzzled the 3 brothers was why some people with special abilities escaped. But the witch Su Miao did not kill them and let them escape. Didn't even take a second look. Only a few dozen weak-legged people with special abilities were left at the entrance to the old man of the mountain ruins. Their bodies were trembling than the 3 brothers of Bai. When they came to the ruins, they thought they were the best of the world. Now, it's nothing. I didn't see me. Didn't see me. I didn't see me. To die. 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 Woohoo. I hope it will not hurt too much. I knew that I wouldn't come any relics. I seemed to see my grandmother beckoning to me, although I don't know why they survived. Even if they did, I dare not think too much about it. Those who are lucky are fainted directly. My brother flew back. Su Miao stretched out the cold look and looked down. She noticed the librarian holding a book. Just as she was about to go down, she noticed 3 strange strong men behind the librarian. She was scared. When his hand shook, he almost killed Bai. Bald. Barcelona. CD has already entered, and the strongest followers around him are called Fei Shirzhua. His ability is pollution, so be careful. The secretary waved his hand and said, "We will kill CD later and leave his body to me. We will need it for our plan. If there is no body, keep his soul fragments." Su Miao nodded his head, stepped out, and brought the elder brother to the old man in the mountains. When passing through the door, Su Miao deliberately sensed it. This feeling is similar to the feeling of playing games in the past. As soon as he entered the ruins, Su Miao discovered that the starling was missing. The sky of the ruins is dark, with little snow floating, and the weather is a bit cold, probably due to the influence of the blizzard and extreme cold outside. Although the blizzard and extreme cold outside have ended, it will take some time for the climate inside the ruins to recover. Looking at it, the white snow covers the entire remains, and you can see the ancient temples and buildings covered with white snow faintly. Su Miao remembers those who are capable on the Supper app to observe the relics of the old man in the mountains. Some people said they saw emerald green mountains and fields. Some people saw herds of cattle and sheep. Someone saw the gorgeous temple. Some people even uploaded the photos taken, and it didn't look like it was edited at all, nor was it AI synthesis. Those photos are obtained by the scenes of the cracks of the shooting space occasionally exposed. However, the actual situation is very different from the photos. It's unbelievable. However, if we really want to reason, it seems that it is not impossible. Just as astronomers speculate that the Earth will be observed outside hundreds of millions of light years, the Earth will be like thousands of years ago. The scenes displayed in the photo are inconsistent with the actual observed scene, which should be almost the same. Now, Su Miao is more worried about the starling. She needed Belle to help find a flying magic book. Su Miao glanced around and decided to go to the temple first. Maybe there will be a library in it. Looking at the direction, Su Miao crossed the void and walked towards the temple. Visually, The temple was about 10 kilometers away from her location. But in fact Su Miao walked more than 30 kilometers to arrive. This temple is built on a high mountain. There is a square in front of the temple. The square is covered by heavy snow. There is no footprint on it. It seems that no one arrives here for the time being. The temple is an ancient roof building. The mottled white jade pillars are carved with strange patterns and images. I don't know what the meaning does. At the entrance is two statues wearing a cloak and holding a big sword. Majestic and solemn. Close to some, you will find that the two statues have no face. From the outside, the light inside the temple was very dim. And the only thing that could be seen was the light coming through the broken areas. Su Miao walked down from high altitude and stood in front of the door. Considering the name of the ruins, Su Miao did not land even when he arrived at the entrance of the temple. Flash. Su Miao's dangling stick. The door of the temple, of the photo. I saw two strange monster statues, like Voldemort's appearance. Their eyes were fixed on the gate, and it looked as if they wanted to devour anyone who entered. Perhaps it was an illusion. Su Miao sensed a hint of malice from the two strange statues. This made Su Miao very scared. With a shake of his hand, two balls of purple flames fell down, covering the two strange statues. They did not resist, but were burned to lime in the blink of an eye and scattered all over the ground. Su Miao walked into the temple and cast another flash spell. It seems to be the main hall. Su Miao noticed that there were many people with eyes closed on the modeled wall. Human face stone carving is lifelike, and it seems to be stuck by the real people. And then, the statue of petrification is very weird. Su Miao did not perceive any malice from these statues. And these statues could not speak. But they would not be scared. However, if these human face stone sculptures suddenly opened their eyes and spoke, Su Miao might blow up the place. Because a talking stranger is scary enough, let alone a stone sculpture of a human face. Magic perception. Su Miao blinked his eyes and felt the approximate situation of this temple. According to the size of the temple, the rough decoration, Su Miao speculated that the general situation here. There are halls, banquet halls, lounges, prayers, training rooms, storage rooms, toilets, etc. Su Miao always feels that this should not be a temple, saying that it is more suitable for a lost castle. Most of the furniture she had seen so far was made of stone. There are few wood. Even if it is made of wood, the wooden furniture will collapse in an instant and turn into ashes with the slightest touch. How long have you been abandoned here? Su Miao looked at the wooden furniture that had turned into ashes and felt a little worried. Even if there are flying magic books here, can it be preserved intact for so many years? It won't turn into ashes if it's touched, right? After walking around the temple, Su Miao found nothing. Where is the flying magic? Su Miao left the temple, returned to the sky, and walked towards the next place with buildings. However, what Su Miao didn't know was that before she left, the strange-faced statues in the temple opened their eyes. They made various weird expressions. Some seemed to be committing epilepsy. Some seemed cramps. Some seemed to be breathing. After moving for a while, they closed their eyes again and turned into stone sculptures. Su Miao came to the second area of suspected temples. Here are all the broken walls, and they are covered by snow everywhere. On the surface, nothing can be seen. Magical perception. Sure enough, nothing. Su Miao looked around and went to the next hill. Suddenly, there was a malicious look at it, and the source of her eyes came from the hill she was going. Thrust arrow. As soon as Su Miao waved his staff, dozens of ice arrows shot to malicious targets. Because he was not sure where the flying magic book existed, Su Miao did not dare to use many destructive magic spells, in case you accidentally bombed the place where the magic book was stored during the killing. This trip came in vain. Which, those who have malicious abilities are a bit powerful. He easily avoided Su Miao's release of ice arrows, and used pulse guns to fight back in a very short time. However, the pulse wave was swallowed by Su Miao's magic space. Su Miao was a dangling stick. Magic tentacles grow like seaweed. Those who hidden behind the broken wall screamed in horror. They just wanted to monopolize the discovery here, and did not expect that Su Miao would be so scary. Even if there is no fear of pulse gun attack, it can be attacked as if it is not even within the field of vision. Is this witch still human? William. Coster. The team shouted loudly. But the two men had been pierced through the waist and abdomen by the magic tentacles, and died tragically on the spot. They fought hard, but the magic tentacles came too suddenly. The two men struggled successfully for 3 seconds and then died. In Hong's blood flowed in the snow, and gradually became a beautiful pool. The surviving ability contains tears in his eyes, and his brother died. But now it is not a time to be sad. He took a butterfly-like step, waved the military dagger in his hand, and kept cutting the magic tentacles of the siege, and killed a way of life. Not only that, he also had time to shoot Su Miao with a pulse gun. This person with this ability is really strong. But he was injured and bleeding under the attack of dense magic tentacles. The bleeding won't stop. The alloy rod pointed to the bottom, and the ability of the fleeing ability was ascended. Running and running, he was tripped by countless magic tentacles. He made a scream, and the scream continued to be blocked by the magic tentacles. After a few seconds, the powerful ability from the west became a corpse. Su Miao stepped down elegantly with the magic barrier. At this time, the magic tentacles searched for several corpse space storage in front of Su Miao. There are various detection instruments, pulse guns, laser guns, mines, bombs, etc. The supplies are rich. With a vaporous stick, the purple flames fell, and all the corpses on the ground burned into ashes. The snow in this ruins was cleaned up. There seems to be something to clean up. Su Miao walked over and looked at it. I saw many villains on the stone wall. These little figures were holding scimitar or dagger-like weapons in their hands and doing various gestures, which looked like a very advanced swordsmanship show. By the way, the person with special abilities, who just broke free from the magic tentacles, used this sword technique. As a person who is suspected to be a martial arts immortal on Earth, Su Miao has some research on martial arts. The knife method on the wall is clever, but it is more for assassination. If you fight on the front, the effect is not easy to say. When Su Miao was about to leave, there were two capabilities in the mountains who came up. The luck is 2 back. The transfer of the ruins is not a fixed coordinate. It is a random coordinate. I can't walk with the president. I'm a little panicked. What panic? With our strength. As long as we are not encountering a pink demon. Do our brothers go sideways in this ruins? You are right. I haven't eaten for a long time. Just take this opportunity to hunt. Yeah. I really do understand the president. I am also a villain. Wait. I smell blood. Let's go and take a look. The two walked a few steps, and saw Su Miao standing on the ruins. Cannibal. There are maliciousness. See these men. As soon as Su Miao had a dangling stick, the magic tentacles of the film grew, which constrained the two cannibals. Pink demon. A Fu man looked frightened and blurted out. The ice sword hole, where's his head? Su Miao wanted to ask some information, but did not hold back. Your Highness the Witch, please spare me. Please spare me. The remaining cannibal was so frightened that he pissed himself. He shouted in horror, Your Highness, I am willing to tell you the information about Sidi's grandson. Su Miao maintained a cold expression and looked quietly at the remaining cannibals. It's best if the other party is willing to take the initiative to speak up. Our president. No. Sida's grandson. That is, Luo Dongjia. Formulated a plan before entering the temple of the old man in the mountains. He plans to find the real temple of the old man in the mountain in the ruins. He will first collect the treasures in the temple, and then wait for you there. According to the clues, there are wine and meat pond forests in the real temple in the real mountain. All kinds of magic weapons. Treasures. The cannibal looked at Su Miao with fear in his eyes. He tried hard to recall and beg for mercy. Your Highness, I am just a small follower, following Sidi's grandson to make a living. I have never done anything that is against the law of nature. Is there no more useful clue? Su Miao blinked his eyes, and let the magic tentacles divide the food people. Sometimes she really can't understand why these people are facing death and begging for mercy. But the inner malice has never been reduced. But it becomes stronger. However, with the information provided by these two cannibals, Su Miao has more clues about the exploration of the ruins of the old man in the mountains. If possible, I hope the Starling can come here as soon as possible. The journey will be much smoother, with a Starling leading the way. However, my brother could not meet Su Miao for the time being, because Mina encountered the strongest person under Sidi Lodongji. Fei Shirzhua. Chapter 337. Hello. Witch from the future. It is worthy of the bird raised by the witch. And the mouth is really cheap. Fei Shirzhua stared at the Baya and said coldly, Son thief, what are you looking at? Believe it or not, I will kill you. Scum! You're just trash. No trash at all. The Starling hovered in the air, taunting but not attacking. Because this garbage is really strong. Bino changed several times in a row, which were resolved and melted by Fei Shirzhua. Similarly, Thistle had no way to deal with the starling flying in the sky. Pulse guns, laser guns, etc. could not hurt the starling. As a result, the two sides changed to a junk confrontation after fighting many times. This state has lasted for nearly an hour. There was no way. The space they were teleported to was very strange. No matter which direction you walk or fly, you will eventually return to the center point. Simply put, there are ghosts hitting the wall here, due to the large number of times it returned to the starting point. Mina summed up some rules and tried to use them to attack Fei Shirzhua, but was still completely resolved by Fei Shirzhua. I see Ant die, and I see Ant fly out. My Belle is very anxious. His Royal Highness Su Miao must be anxious outside. She also wants to help His Royal Highness. Fei Shirzhua was also very anxious. Intelligence shows that the witch Su Miao has a strong brother who is very strong. But the strength of the 8th brother is unlikely. If he was replaced by others, he would have been killed by the elder brother. That is, he could resolve the offensive of the Alaries. This important information must be reported to the president. It is best to let the president go directly to kill the cheap brother to prevent accidents when fighting with the witch Su Miao. Wine and meat pond forest. Swimming pool. Su Miao walked in the void, looking at the abandoned temple on the hilltop, but did not find any building that met the requirements. This is not the place she wants to find. After using magic perception to observe, Su Miao left. It was still snowing. Not heavily, but visibility inside the ruins was still low due to the snow. This adds great difficulty to Su Miao's search. There are too many mountains in the ruins. Without the help of my elder brother, it was troublesome to search for the search of a mountain and a mountain. Su Miao thought of the anime, movies and novels he had watched before. Whenever the ruins were opened, they would gather in a general area and explore and break through the levels bit by bit. Everyone fought with wits and courage. And in the end, the protagonist picked all the peaches and the story ended perfectly. But what is the actual situation? The ruins of the old man in the mountain are open, and people who enter the ruins are teleported randomly. You can go anywhere in the ruins as long as you want to. But looking for things like headless flies, I don't know which direction to go. Fortunately, Su Miao can walk at high altitude, at least far away. This mountain is very high. It should be here. Relying on the information provided by CD's men, Su Miao discovered groups of palace ruins on the distant mountains. The scale of these palaces is very large, like the king castle built on the mountain in the fairy tales. And it is much larger than the castle. There will be magic books here. Right? Su Miao continued to walk forward, and unexpectedly found that he was back to the starting point. There seems to be an invisible barrier here to block everything. The alloy staff was swung. A large water ball floated forward neither fast nor slow. After a few seconds, he returned to Su Miao without any accident. This means you are not allowed to fly? Su Miao blinked and walked down the mountain. If people were not allowed to leave the mountain, Su Miao wouldn't mind using Starlight Blossom to bombard the invisible barrier once and force an entrance. With his feet on the ground, Su Miao walked forward along the deserted ancient road in front of him. There are no footprints on the ancient road. There may also be. Just cover the snow. This time, Su Miao successfully passed through the invisible barrier and reached the foot of the mountain. For security reasons, Su Miao released the magic barrier to prevent possible attacks. Su Miao went up and walked towards the palace group on the mountain. There are many stone carvings and statues on both sides of the ancient mountain road. They have different shapes and strange postures, which are very scary. Even though countless years have passed, they still look alive. It currently appears to be normal, has no malicious intent, and will not move. Su Miao walked towards the mountain. More than 10 minutes later, Su Miao came to a building ruins. I didn't know what it was used here. At present, there are only a large amount of stones and broken stone pillars. Suddenly, Su Miao smelled a smell of blood. After walking a few steps forward, Su Miao saw 3 more corpses on the ground. One person was opened, and one had less head and half of his body. What's more weird is that there are no footprints nearby, as if these corpses are brought from the air to here. What can fly? Su Miao lost a magic light ball to illuminate the nearby scenery. The first thing that came into view was a backborne wing, pointed monkey cheeks, squatting on the stone pier, looking like a monster statue of a demon. There was blood on the monster's claws and on its mouth. It seemed that the corpse lying on the ground was the one it had eaten. Of course, it is not ruled out what capabilities use a special method to wipe the blood on the stone statue to create a strange and appalling illusion. At least so far, Su Miao has not felt any malicious except that this statue is living. However, if this statue really lives, it is terrible. Because on the way, in addition to all kinds of residual walls, all kinds of weird statues are the most. Su Miao decided not to destroy the scene for the time being, and left here to avoid causing a chain reaction. Continued to walk forward for a while. Su Miao came to a more complete temple. There are many statues of beautiful women at the entrance of the temple. These beautiful statues are enchanting and versatile, and they only wear a thin gauze on their bodies, which look looming. If these statues are brought out of the relics, Su Miao feels that the artistic value of each statue will be no less than that of the Venus statue. However, the ruins are the Doomsday. No matter how much artistic value a stone statue has, it is still stone and has no edible value. Su Miao stood here, always feeling something wrong. These statues seemed to be looking at her. Scared? Su Miao stretched the cold look and was ready to leave here first. Suddenly, the light and shadow in front of me was bright. The palace became neat and clean, and there was clear water light not far ahead. The countless colored tulle flew up, covering Su Miao's sight. Then Su Miao saw the ancient enchanting woman who hadn't worn anything and appeared behind the tulle. They twisted their bodies, danced like elf deer, showed charming expressions, and approached it neither fast nor slow. If you were standing here, you may be disarmed at the moment of seeing the scene, and you can't wait to rush over immediately and spend a wonderful time with these beautiful women. However, for Su Miao, this is a premeditated scared. Too many strangers, even if these strangers are a beautiful woman who dances without clothes. However, there are daggers hidden in their hands. 5 steps away from Su Miao, the beautiful woman's figure fluttered towards her like a butterfly. With an extremely ambiguous posture, the dagger in their hands attacked Su Miao's dead acupoint. Su Miao took a half step back and swung out the alloy staff in his hand. Black. The beautiful woman rushed in front was beaten, and flesh and blood splashed. The alloy staff turned again and wiped the arms of the other 2 women. Su Miao killed 3 in a row. But there were more beautiful women who did not wear clothes to be surrounded. They will never stop until Su Miao is killed. Su Miao stretched the cold look, inserted the alloy staff on the ground, and took out the silver sword from the magic space. Suddenly, Jian Shao broke the air. Su Miao took the sword and shuttled in the crowd. In the blink of an eye, the beautiful woman who rushed over was either cut off part of her body, was cut off, or was directly cut off. When Jian Shao's sound spread, the blood on the gallery of the temple that was not wide flowed into a river, and there were corpses everywhere. Looking at the body on the ground, Su Miao was relieved. It's so scary just now. She put away the silver sword and picked up the alloy staff again. The surrounding environment changed suddenly, and the corpse on the ground turned into a crushed stone. The beautiful woman rolled in the corner became a stone carving. As for the beautiful statues of a beautiful woman inside and outside the temple, all are gone. Su Miao stood there, staring blankly at the broken stone sculptures on the ground. He waved his staff, and a large amount of purple flames fell, burning all the remaining stone sculptures into lime. This way you can be sure of success. Continue to walk inside. Su Miao found the remains of the suspected swimming pool. Thinking of those beautiful women just now, Su Miao remembered the ancient legend. Legend has it that the old man in the mountain has many disciples. Before giving them assassination missions, he will take these disciples to the temple to taste delicious food, drink fine wine, and mate with naked beauties, allowing them to spend an unforgettable day. If they want to enjoy it again, they must complete the assassination task to have a chance. Will the beauty in the actual stone be these stone statues? These stone statues are actually a trial? However, Su Miao didn't feel like it was a trial. So many beauties who didn't wear clothes rushed over. Who could hold it? Is this some kind of team copy? Su Miao couldn't figure it out. So he simply stopped thinking about it. Because this legend has a bug? The legend of the story is about 1,000 years ago. But in fact, the remains of the old man in the mountains she explored have been more time. After leaving the pool, Su Miao saw the suspected restaurant area. Go ahead. The broken palace before my eyes became bright. I saw that the restaurant was full of white jade stones everywhere, and the table was full of various foods. It was no exaggeration to describe it with Agar. Here seems to be holding a high-standard banquet. In the center of the temple, 6 beautiful women wearing light yarn are dancing. They are wonderful. And they are so soft and charming. At the banquet, there were people who looked like princes, people who looked like Taoist priests, people who looked like Buddha, people who looked like witches, people who looked like killers, and people who looked like members of an ancient sect that had been lost in history. As for the main seat, a rich man like Old Man. The Old Man has a very special atmosphere. This aura is similar to that of the evil god in the desert palace. But it is somewhat different. While admiring the beauty dancing, everyone eats food. It looks very harmonious and enjoyed. Suddenly, the Old Man looked in Su Miao's direction and said, "Another distinguished guest has arrived. Please take a seat." "Are you talking about me?" Su Miao met the Old Man's gaze, and his heart tightened. Isn't this the same illusion as before? Can an illusion become real? Looking at so many strangers in the hall, Su Miao felt very nervous. "Which from the future? Please seat." The Old Man in the main seat invited again. Su Miao's heart sank. This time she confirmed that it was indeed her who was invited. There was an empty white marble table just a few steps in front of her. There was no one sitting here. It was obviously prepared for her. The other party looked no malicious. And she couldn't figure out the situation under her eyes. Su Miao thought about it, walked over, and sat down in front of the white jade stone table. As for the food on the table, no matter how delicious it looked, she would not touch it. Who could have thought that the Old Man's next words would shock Su Miao so much? Your arrival means the end of the earth has arrived. End. They know the world is ending. In the wilderness, Odibio was running wildly. He had just been teleported to a strange place that looked like a cemetery. Based on the principle of since he was already there, he carried out basic archaeological excavation work on the cemetery. However, after digging a few shovels, Odibio discovered that a strange gray mist began to fill the cemetery. And then hands stretched out from the wet snow. At the beginning, a few can be broken with a shovel. But when you see more and more climbing out, Erdbiao can't hold it. What's even more terrifying is that the stone statues in the cemetery came to life. Hack! Odibio really couldn't bear it this time. Because there are so many stone statues in the cemetery. If they all come to life, he will be trapped here. So, Odibio started to run away. This escape revived more stone statues and undead spirits. Just like that, a strange scene appeared in the wilderness, with Odibio running wildly in front, and many undead spirits and stone statues chasing him from behind. In another temple, the black magician Lauren Cobia successfully discovered a secret room containing treasure. It's full of gold, roughly estimated to be more than 100 tons of gold. His eyes were dazzled by what he saw. With these gold, he can conduct a lot of magic research. There are also those exquisite golden swords, golden spears, and golden staffs, which, even after countless years, still have an unimaginable aura. The most important thing is the runes enchanted on these weapons. He sensed the breath of ancient magic. It's rich! The black magician Lauren Cobia walked into the secret room impatiently, and put several weapons engraved with magic runes into the space storage device first. Suddenly, the golden mountain began to tremble, and under the rustling sound of gold colliding, it seemed that some huge monster was waking up. After a few seconds, the black magician Lauren Cobia saw clearly what was under the golden mountain. This is an undead bone dragon with bone fire glowing. Fuck! The black magician Lauren Cobia turned and fled. The scimitar assassin Harbis had been hiding in the dark. And when he saw the black magician Lauren Cobia was so happy, he knew he had followed the right person. However, before he could act, he saw the black magician Lauren Cobia fleeing from the secret room in panic. Then the entire temple began to shake. He froze for a moment, and saw the undead bone head of the head out of the secret room. Hemp. Chapter 338 Witch. Your focus is wrong. At the banquet, Su Miao looked at the old man sitting on the main seat, and was shocked. They already knew the end of the world. I am the omniscient and omnipotent supreme god of this world. Mortals call me the Lord of Wisdom, and the God of Fire. I am in charge of light, life, and creation. I am the embodiment of order and truth. The Lord of Wisdom introduces himself. A suspected person at the banquet said, "What is the Most High Master God is a heavenly God. Don't praise yourself." The Lord of Wisdom coughed lightly. These are not important. Su Miao looked at the Lord of Wisdom and the guests at the banquet, and became more and more confused. The Supreme God? God? Oh, there are evil gods. It's normal to have gods. It was just that the situation in front of him was a bit beyond Su Miao's cognition, and it was a bit incomprehensible. Fortunately, these people had no ill intentions towards her. If they did, Su Miao would feel it would be very troublesome. It may not be harmful to use stars to bloom, etc. Suddenly, Su Miao noticed that the look of the Lord of Wisdom had changed. Her thoughts seemed to be sensed. The mental barrier has broken down. The Lord of Wisdom said, "Please don't misunderstand. We have no ill will towards you. I am omniscient and omnipotent, and I know that it is normal for the earth to face the end of the world in the future." Su Miao held his icy expression and said, "What's the matter?" The Lord of Wisdom was slightly startled. Then he smiled. According to normal, most people will ask curiously, "Where did God go?" If all else fails, you have to ask an omniscient and omnipotent God like him, what will happen in the end-time disaster, and is there any hope? However, the witch just asked, "Is there anything wrong?" The Lord of Wisdom feels that his omniscience and omnipotence need to be discounted. In fact, he only had a vague foreknowledge of the witch's coming in the future, and could not anticipate more, including Su Miao's problem. The guests looked at this scene with strange expressions. "It's true," the Lord of Wisdom said, "for some reasons, this universe is being destroyed. In order to save the universe, we go far away, and want to seek a little vitality for this world." Another person said, "Don't say so nicely. We just escape, for fear of falling in the Doomsday world." Escape? The god who once lived on Earth ran away. Is this Doomsday disaster really that terrifying? Su Miao was shocked again. It was a rare occasion. As a person with social phobia, Su Miao's mood experienced such ups and downs for the first time. The Lord of Wisdom coughed lightly and said, "No, we are indeed looking for a way to save the world and the universe. But the results are not optimistic. In the process of exploration, the piers disappeared in 2 consecutive places, and even I lost my direction. We have not been explored in the universe, but never lost this way. The Supreme God? God? Omniscient and omnipotent. But lost your way." Su Miao looked at the Lord of Wisdom with a stunned manner, and didn't know how to evaluate. The Lord of Wisdom said, "I know you have doubts in your heart, but so far, we know very little." Su Miao asked, "What do you know?" The Lord of Wisdom said, "The world is being destroyed. The universe is being destroyed. The twilight of the gods has already arrived. You? I don't know why." The words behind the wisdom seemed to be silent. Even the entire space becomes unstable. The Lord of Wisdom looked shocked. Omniscientable and omnipotent. But it does not mean that it can be said. Su Miao showed a puzzled look, not understanding what the Lord of Wisdom had just said. But she had a question. "Do you know where there is a flying magic book?" "2 friends told me that there is a flying magic book in this relic." The Lord of Wisdom was silent. He was seriously saying that the world's destruction and the destroy of the universe. But the witch from the future seemed to not care about Doomsday destruction, and only asked the whereabouts of a simple flying magic book. He had a choking feeling in. Yes, in the library. The Lord of Wisdom took a deep breath and waved his hand to display a map of the ancient ruins. The library area was specially marked. "Witch from the future. Is there anything else you want to know?" Su Miao thought for a moment and asked, "Do you know the other world? Some people call it the neighboring world, while those who practice Taoism call it the spirit world." The Lord of Wisdom suddenly revealed a look of fear. "The other world, you have discovered the other world." Which? He wanted to say something urgently, but the entire space suddenly shattered. What kind of banquet, and what gods have disappeared? It seems that there is never an existence. Su Miao stood in the empty temple hall, stunned for a moment. This Wisdom Lord obviously wants to convey what message, but she didn't hear anything. What the other party said, it seemed to trigger some taboos, so that the entire conversation ended in advance. However, Su Miao had at least the whereabouts of the flying magic book in the large library in this temple. As for the world destruction mentioned by the Lord of Wisdom and the destruction of the universe, Su Miao did not think too much. It has been a year since the end of the world. The extremely terrifying blizzard, extreme cold, and the disorder of the sun and the moon have all been temporarily overcome. Humanity has long been numb to Doomsday disasters. If the Earth really explodes one day, humans will have no better way but to passively accept it. All humans can do is struggle in the Doomsday and do everything possible to stay alive. As for saving the world and saving the universe, This was not something a witch who was interning for 1 year and 6 months would consider at all. In addition, after what happened just now, Su Miao understood one thing. Why this relic was called the relics of the old man in the mountain. The probability is that after the gods led by the Lord of Wisdom, the old man in the mountains Huishan discovered this and turned here into his old nest. Later, after Huishan's killer organization was destroyed, the legend of the old man in the world began to spread. Su Miao left the temple and headed straight for the library. After taking only a few steps, the atmosphere around me suddenly changed. A large amount of gray fog appeared nearby at some point, and strange sounds were faintly heard from the fog, as if something special had awakened. The stars are blooming! Su Miao didn't wait for the thing in the gray fog to come out, and directly fired an ordinary starlight burst that did not cause any damage. In an instant, the bright starlight opened up a beautiful passage in the gray mist. No matter how the gray fog around it struggled or caused trouble, it could not close. There seems to be something in the gray fog to get close to the channel. However, they only made painful screams as soon as they approached. Su Miao did not delay the time and walked along the starlight channel. If the road in front was not easy to go, the starlight bloomed again. There is no need to compress the magic power to release it. It doesn't matter how many starlight blooms you throw just to create the atmosphere. But after losing 2 more starlight blooms, the gray mist suddenly dissipated. This made Su Miao a little confused. Maybe it's out of the other party's control. The next road was much smoother, and there were almost no obstacles. Su Miao came to the position of the big library. However, there is no difference between the buildings here and elsewhere. They are all broken walls covered with snow. The book. Is it still there? Su Miao walked into the broken temple. The surrounding environment suddenly changed, as if all of them were bright. Similar situations have happened several times, and Su Miao blinked his eyes to adapt to this situation. The only thing I'm not used to is that there are strangers here. In the library, several strangers wearing sheath-style clothing walked around, and they were borrowing books here. These people did not look at her, and it seemed to be able to see her at all. It's like people in the same space, but they are actually in different dimensions. As for the books here, there are wood carvings, slate, grass paper, sheepskin paper, some books, gold pages, silver pages. Very distinctive. Where is the flying magic book? Su Miao walked along the bookshelf, sensing the aura of the magic book. Suddenly, Su Miao noticed a girl with an orange ponytail standing in front of a bookshelf. This girl's dress is incompatible with the surrounding personality. The skirts we wear are very modern. They say that they are all magical girls. But how is this possible? In a blink of an eye, the girl with a single ponytail of the orange side disappeared. Su Miao looked at the place where the girl had just stood. She walked over and won the sheepskin paper on the bookshelf with a few magic arrays on it. There are some weird pictographs around the magic array. According to the characteristics of pictographs, Su Miao can roughly guess the meaning of these texts. Flying bird, this is flying magic. Su Miao stared at the flying bird pictograph that appeared on the instructions and was very happy. Without thinking too much, she immediately memorized the 3 magic circles on the parchment, then took out her magic notebook and copied down all 3 magic circles to prevent memory errors. After doing these, Su Miao copied it together, because she was not sure when the scene here would disappear, and by the time everything returned to normal, she would not be able to fully remember the flying magic, which would be a big loss. According to the previous Magic Knowledge Foundation, Su Miao speculated that the 3 magic arrays should be used to draw magic props such as magic brooms, like magic brooms on items. The remaining one looks very complicated as pure flight magic. This flying magic is very different from the magic she learned before, and it takes a certain time to realize it. Repeatedly compared the magic array of the recorded. Su Miao relieved to put the sheepskin paper back, just as she was about to read other books. The surrounding environment suddenly changed and became a ruins without anything. Time is almost right. Was it arranged by the Lord of Wisdom? If so, Su Miao has a new question. Why do the librarian and the mysterious blonde girl know that there is a flying magic book in the ruins of the old man in the mountain? Or can anyone who come and experience what she just happened? Su Miao walked around the library again. Unfortunately, there is nothing but stone here. No parchment, golden pages, or silver pages. It's time to go find Beige and Seedy. Su Miao walked out of the ruins of the great library and came to a high place to look into the distance. At this time, the snow in the ruins stopped. However, the field of vision in the ruins is still not wide, and Su Miao cannot see a farther place. It's a bit difficult to find the starling in this way. Wrong. According to the ability of the starling, whether it is finding treasures or finding people, it is first class. There is no reason why she has not been found until now. Unless there is only one possibility. The starling is trapped in some special space. Trapped in a maze. Su Miao thought of this possibility. Suddenly, explosions were heard in the distance. Someone was fighting. Su Miao looked in the direction of the explosion, only to see a strange fog covering the sky and heading towards here. Not only that, there are very weird screams in the strange fog. It's like, boo boo boo. Su Miao blinked a few times, and quickly saw what this crying monster was. It turned out to be a huge bone dragon that lit a fire. The bone dragon flashed with the explicit wings and flew in the strange fog, spitting green flames from time to time. The green flames are over. Whether it is ancient buildings or weird statues, all in the green flames are burning. Under the undead bone dragon, a group of capable people were fled. From time to time, one or two capabilities can be blown out elsewhere. They were seeking treasure hunt, and they were suddenly disturbed by very angry. But when they looked up, they saw such a big guy. No anger was gone, and some were endless fear. Ah! Help! What is this? Don't come over here. Be careful of the fog. Besides the undead bone dragon, there are other things in the fog. As he shouted this, Su Miao saw in the mist an undead with only bones left on its body, but wearing a torn sheepskin cloak, holding two swords and performing beautiful butterfly sword steps, easily cutting off the head of a slow-running ability user. This undead killer is not weak, and the dancer killers, who were close to Su Miao, had previously killed. Su Miao noticed that two of the people who escaped were very powerful. They ran for hundreds of meters, and did not get lost in the fog. He didn't die immediately. If I'm not mistaken, the undead bone dragon is chasing these two people. The black magician Lorencobia, the Sav assassin Hobbies, is the person who was chased by the undead dragon. Crying, after finally discovering treasures in the old man in the mountains. Before he had time to gain a few pieces, he caused such a terrible undead bone dragon. They feel that life is like a silk thread in the wind, and they may collapse at any time. The dark magician Lorencobia noticed the witch Su Miao standing high up. He was stunned at first. Then a greater fear arose in his heart. And then this fear was transformed into ecstasy. Your Highness the witch, I'm your fan. Help! Black magician Lorencobia shouted. Her Majesty the witch? The scimitar assassin Harbis was startled and almost hit by the green dragon's breath. He looked up and saw the witch Su Miao. At a glance, he had an idea of turning around and rushing into strange fog. After the reward was posted on the night snack app forum, the scimitar assassin Harbis had thought about taking over this business. Kill the witch Su Miao, earn 1,000,000 points reward from Dragon Country, and reach the peak of life from then on. However, after seeing the battle record of the witch Su Miao, he gave up. I didn't expect to meet a witch at this time. Chapter 339. I give you strength. Scared. Being yelled at by a stranger with malicious intent is very scary. Just throw a big fireball down? That's not a no-no. But it is immoral to just get the flying magic book from here, and then turn around and bomb the ruins again. Attacking people with malicious intent may draw the hatred of the undead bone dragon. Attack the undead bone dragon? Su Miao never rescued the malicious person to her. Therefore, without hesitation, Su Miao turned and fled. The black magician Lorencobia was stunned. While calling for help, he had to deal with the undead bone dragon chasing him. If he wasn't careful, he would lose his life. The scimitar assassin Harbis was just about to speed up and let the witch Su Miao fight against the undead bone dragon. But he didn't expect the witch Su Miao to turn around and run away. Damn it! The most important thing is that the witch Su Miao was so fast that she disappeared in the blink of an eye. He felt a fire in his heart, had nowhere to vent, and was uncomfortable. Suddenly, he began to feel the ghost coming out of his body. The witch Su Miao is back again. Su Miao waved the staff, and more than 300 ice arrows shot like a storm. The black magician Lorencobia was extremely terrified. He immediately deployed a magic shield to block the attacking ice arrows. He couldn't hold on for more than 3 seconds before his expression turned extremely ugly. The green dragon breath of the undead bone dragon has also arrived. This is going to cost him his life. Just now, he was still wondering how the witch Su Miao had transformed and no longer killed people on sight. Unexpectedly, it was not the case at all. The reason I didn't kill him just now might be because I was fooled by him claiming to be a fan. But after I figured it out, I fought back and killed him. The dark magician Lorencobia felt a little regretful. If he had known, he would not have shouted like that. Not only did he fail to attract the hatred of the undead bone dragon to the witch Su Miao, but he was instead surrounded and attacked from both the witch Su Miao and the undead bone dragon. Scimitar assassin Harbis uses butterfly steps to dodge quickly and blocks with his scimitar. After a fierce fight, luckily he was not injured. However, because of the ice arrow, the distance between him and the undead bone dragon became closer, and the green dragon was closer. Boom! Green dragon breath fell. The ground exploded and turned into terrifying magma. The black magician Lorencobia, the Sob assassin Hobbies, was forced to use the secret technique, avoiding the green dragon's sputter. Otherwise, just a little bit of star, they may be dead. This undead bone dragon is so terrifying. I thought this would be the end, but it turned out to be just the beginning. The witch Su Miao, who was standing on a high place, pointed her alloy staff forward again, and the ice arrow whistled towards me again. Your Highness the Witch, I am truly your fan. The black magician Lorencobia felt that he could save it, and continued to shout. There was no better way at the moment except shouting and begging for mercy. However, the black magician Lorencobia did not know that because of the malice he had just shown, he had already been put on Su Miao's kill list. There is no excessive nonsense about the scimitar assassin Harbis. He quickly faced reality. Facing the siege of the witch Su Miao and the undead bone dragon, he would surely die if he passively defended and dodged. To break this dilemma, one must choose a breakthrough between the witch Su Miao and the undead bone dragon. The undead bone dragon is hidden in the gray fog. In addition to the undead bone dragon in the fog, there are a lot of undead killers. The use of the exclusion method is left to break through the direction of the witch Su Miao. According to intelligence, the witch Su Miao is extremely powerful. A head-on battle is definitely not possible, and she must be outsmarted. Of course, the scimitar assassin Harbis never dared to think about killing the witch. So many strong men had died at her hands, and he didn't think he could do it even if he tried his best. Therefore, the goal of the scimitar assassin Harbis is to break through the defense of the witch Su Miao and then escape as soon as possible. If you are lucky, you can let the undead bone dragon distract the witch. Do it when you think of it. The scimitar assassin Hobbies brandished the scimitar with both hands, and his speed exploded instantly. His figure changed from 1 to 3, 3 to 9, and 9 to 27 at this moment. 20-7 figures took the elegant butterfly step, as if the flying butterfly killed the witch Su Miao in the distance. In an instant, it seemed as if the direction of the air had changed. Kill! Su Miao stood on a high place, looking at the scimitar assassin Harbis, who was coming to kill him. A beam of magic burst out instantly, piercing through all the figures. In the interest, all the assassins dissipated. However, it was unknown what ability the scimitar assassin Hobbies used. But the opponent's attack did not dissipate. Instead, it burst out with even stronger power and attacked Su Miao. The attack reached the magic space array and was directly absorbed and eliminated into nothingness. The scimitar assassin Harbis, hiding in the darkness, was horrified. He had used this unique trick to assassinate countless powerful people. Even if the opponent was incredibly strong, he would still be seriously injured by this trick. However, the witch Su Miao was resolved out of thin air. This is impossible. Leave first. We'll settle this later. The scimitar assassin Harbis calmed down quickly. Although he wanted to know the principle, staying here would only lead to his death faster. But he didn't have time to hide and escape. The Harbis hiding in the shadows met Su Miao's eyes in the distance. Witch, how did you find me? This is impossible. No one can find me in the shadows. This must be an illusion. No, it's not an illusion. Hobbies in the shadow widened his eyes and looked at Su Miao, a witch standing high in desperate way. Mousy can be scattered, but the source of maliciousness will not disappear, even if the body is hidden in the shadow. The maliciousness in the darkness in Su Miao's eyes is obvious than the 3,000-watt headlights. At this time, the scimitar assassin Harbis was in the shadows not far below Su Miao, within the attack range of the Cruciatus Curse. The alloy staff was used and the Cruciatus Curse hit the target. The scimitar assassin Harbis covered his heart, groaned, and rolled out from the shadows. So strong. Su Miao suppressed his cold expression and exclaimed in admiration. He is truly a person with powerful abilities. Even though his heart was crushed, he was still able to continue breathing with his powerful strength. He is really too strong. Just in case, Su Miao added another ball of blue flame. The scimitar assassin Harbis tried to dodge, but there was no way. The flames fell on him, and he was burned to ashes in the blink of an eye. Deader than dead. The black magician Lorencobia saw the death of Harbis. His eyes filled with fear. He came here to look for treasure, not to die. Oh! The treasure! The black magician Lorencobia took off his air storage device and threw it into the distance with magic. Your Highness the Witch. There are treasures I collected from the treasury in it. Please save my life. Su Miao suppressed his cold expression, took the space storage device from the mage's hand, and saw several metal weapons of special styles inside. All good stuff. However, after the black magician Lorencobia gave the gift, the malice in his heart became even stronger. People like this are terrible. Must die. Okay. I'll give you strength. Su Miao stretched his cold look and pointed at the black magician Lorencobia. Blood sacrifice. Instantly, the black magician Lorencobia felt his body getting hot. 30% of the blood in his body was sacrificed and transformed into pure energy and injected into his body, making him stronger. However, because of the blood sacrifice, he was delayed for a few seconds and got closer to the undead bone dragon. The undead bone dragon slashed down with one claw. If you shoot it this time, you have to go to half a life. However, it was too late to dodge now. Boom! The black magician Lorencobia unleashed his strongest black magic and actually successfully resisted the undead bone dragon and even repelled it. I have become stronger. Seeing the undead bone dragon being repelled, the black magician Lorencobia became more spirited and more confident. Powerful black magic continued to erupt, making the undead bone dragon howl and retreat step by step. Black magician Lorencobia's eyes lit up. As a magician, no one knew better than him how precious the materials on a dragon's body were, especially for a dark magician like him. If he could obtain this undead bone dragon, his strength would become extremely powerful. Even, he can use the materials of the undead dragon to promote the legend. Lorencobia had come across the black magician in online novels, anime, and games before, and thought it was just something the novelists made up. However, by accident, he entered the world of black magic and learned that the world of magic really had legends. Only by becoming a legendary magician can one have the opportunity to be promoted to a demigod and become an eternal true god. What an opportunity! Black magician Lorencobia speeds up her attack. The big split. Hundreds of undead killers were hit by the dark magic, and then decayed instantly. The undead bone dragon was repelled once again. Su Miao looked at the battlefield in the distance and looked strange. Shouldn't you run directly with the help of the blood sacrifice? Could it be that when this person felt stronger, he didn't notice the reduction of blood in his body? If so, Su Miao waved the alloy staff again and used blood sacrifice again. In an instant, the aura of the black magician Lorencobia became increasingly powerful, and this aura was already comparable to the explosive Lan Zhong. Ha ha ha! Which? Thank you. The black magician Lorencobia laughed wildly. He waved his staff, gathering endless magic power, turning it into a pitch-black fireball, and smashed it towards the undead bone dragon. With a bombardment, the undead bone dragon was smashed into the gray fog, and even the surrounding gray fog was destroyed a lot. At the same time, the maliciousness of the black magician Lorencobia became stronger. It seems that he wants to kill the death bone dragon and then turn around to kill Su Miao. Su Miao was a little scared, but only a little scared, because the black magician Lorencobia is dying. Under normal circumstances, when the amount of bleeding reaches about 20% of the total human body volume, symptoms of hemorrhagic shock will appear. Even though the black magician Lorencobia has become a person with powerful abilities and needs to rely on the blood system to survive, he must follow certain laws of life. Now, the black magician Lorencobia is still sober, nothing more than relying on the huge magic in the body to live. Once these forces are almost consumed, the sequelae of excessive blood loss will appear. Boom! After several powerful magic attacks, the undead bone dragon was knocked to the ground, and the flame in its skull became weak. Even so, the undead bone dragon was still struggling and continued to attack the black magician Lorencobia, with countless undead assassins rushing out of the fog around it. However, the black magician Lorencobia is no longer the weak human and he was just now. When a group of undead assassins rushed out, a ball of dark magic flame would burn, killing them accurately. This is a special fire magic that can target souls, and is perfect for dealing with the undead. He. The black magician Lauren Cobia sneered, and approached the undead bone dragon with a staff in hand. Beast, continue to vomit. Come and kill me. You want to turn the world upside down even after you die? Your dragon bones are perfect magical materials. I will use your bones to make a brand new staff, so that you can have the honor of following me forever. After I deal with you, it's time to deal with the witch Su Miao, the witch who killed heaven. Dare to pit me. I will let you know the power of the black magic. After walking a few more steps, the black magician Lauren Cobia suddenly felt weak and his eyes were a little blurry, as if he couldn't do anything. The dark magician Lauren Cobia shook her head, trying to sober up, but to no avail. This feeling is real. What did the witch do to me? The dark magician Lauren Cobia turned his head with difficulty and looked at the witch Su Miao with cold eyes in the distance. He wanted to kneel down and beg for help, but at this moment his body couldn't even kneel down to obey the order. Your Highness, spare my life. With a sound, the staff in his hand fell to the ground. The black magician Lauren Cobia staggered and fell heavily to the ground. At this moment, he felt that time had become extremely long, and the beautiful life in the past was playing before his eyes, like a movie. The black magician Lauren Cobia's severe shock was coma. The undead bone dragon nearby saw this, and wanted to eat the black magician in one bite. But it had been crippled and could not move. Su Miao tried to use the undead resurrection to confirm that the black magician Lauren Cobia was not dead. As a result, Su Miao held the alloy staff. Magic beam erupted. The body of the black magician Lauren Cobia was instantly annihilated, and the undead bone dragon was completely blown up. For the sake of the Lord of Wisdom, Su Miao controlled the explosion range of the magic beam and only blew up an area of half a football field. As the undead bone dragon was annihilated, the strange gray fog gradually dissipated, allowing the ruins to return to their former tranquility. The scimitar assassin Harbis is dead. The black magician Lauren Cobia died. Other people with special abilities who were affected also died. Su Miao took a breath and quickly left the scene. This area of ruins has special restrictions and is not very suitable for flying, even standing high in the air. Su Miao doesn't like this feeling. As for the treasure house mentioned by the black magician Lauren Cobia, Su Miao was not interested at all. It seems like this undead bone dragon was created by the other party during his treasure hunt. What if there is some nightmare sealed in the treasure house? That music is big. Su Miao confessed that she had a little strength, but she was very clear that she was very weak at present. You know, even because of this end of the world, even God has run. Chapter 340. God is dead. The devil is destroyed. Sidi Luodongji was walking in a cemetery. He was randomly transmitted. He didn't know where it was. There are no palaces, no snow, no vegetation here, but countless ancient tombstones. The names of ancient beings from the past are engraved on the tombstones in ancient characters. Luo Dongjia walked forward. Suddenly, he heard a sound in front of him. Looking forward carefully, Luo Dongjia noticed two people in black cloaks in front of him, with special octopus-like marks on their cloaks. This is a person with special abilities from that mysterious organization. They are here too. The Luo family base will be opposed by the witch Su Miao and eventually destroyed. The ability of this organization must be fully responsible. Without their secret activities, such a tragedy would never have happened. Enemies often meet on a narrow road. CD raised his hand, ready to kill several people with special abilities. However, thinking of the weirdness of this cemetery, he did not take action directly. He planned to see what these two sneaky people with special abilities wanted to do first. They seemed to be digging something in front of a tombstone. Looking on the left and right, CD noticed that there were many traces of excavation in the cemetery. It seems that they have been dug for a long time. Damn. I found so much and found nothing. Calm down. You'll definitely gain something this time. If the two losers hadn't failed in their attempt to cause trouble in the evil god's underground palace last time, why would we have come out? Don't mention those two losers. Now the 12 divisions are investigating our organization. Although we killed people from the 12 divisions a few times before, we also lost a lot of manpower. It seems that the incident of organizing the control of the Luo family is exposed. Shut up. He glanced around and said, don't forget. CD. Sishu have come to the remains of the old people in the mountains. And the pink demon Su Miao also came. No matter who knows this, it is troublesome for us. Then we have to act quickly. The pink demon will kill everyone. The two spoken sounds were getting smaller and smaller. CD felt that something was wrong. So he took decisive action. With a bombardment, the two weird capabilities turned into a dark water stain. Escape. CD came to the area where the two people with strange abilities had just dug. He stepped down, and the soil shook immediately, and something was dug out. Is there really something? CD looked at what was dug out. This is a meteorite with special patterns, and some words engraved on it, which happen to be Chinese characters that he can understand. God is dead. The demon is extinguished. How do I go to my way? CD looked at the word on the meteorite. His expression was dignified. God. It really exists. This is what the 12 departments study. Moreover, there is a similar meteorite in his base, which says a line of words. Why does no one tell me that there is really God in this world? In addition to text, there is a blood fingerprint on it. So far, CD has used various instruments, but has not been able to extract any blood cells that can be used for research. If the extraction is forced, the relevant researchers will surely die suddenly. Later, CD tried to perceive with ability. As a result, there was no more information except to perceive the despair of the abyss. Now, seeing the new meteorite, he was deeply moved. The librarian uploaded some research results to share. There were gods, fairies, demons, monsters, and mythical figures on Earth. They all really existed. But for some reason they left Earth, causing a gap in the related civilizations. As for the reason for their collective departure, it may be to escape, such as the last era circulating in Xianxia novels. However, after the end of the end, I guess they are running away. This is the end of the world that even the gods fear. CD remembered the information. According to the consistent tradition within the 12 departments, the uploaded intelligence may conceal some information, but not too much. However, if the uploaded intelligence involves some important plans, then the relevant intelligence will be more detailed than what anyone can obtain through investigation. The results of this research are very detailed. God is dead. And the devil is destroyed? CD took a deep breath and shuddered the information on the meteorite. Raising his hand to put the meteorite into the space storage device, CD started searching the whereabouts of the two weird abilities in the tomb. Let's put these things aside for now. Those two sneaky people with special abilities must be killed this time. Where will the starling go? Su Miao came to the wilderness and frowned slightly. She stepped out, came to high altitude, overlooking the quartet, hoping to find a little clue. Judging from the current situation, my brother may be trapped. Su Miao took several hundred meters at a time and walked towards the distance. Not long after she walked, she saw a large number of undead skeletons chasing someone in the wilderness. The sky over the ruins was a little dark, and the distance was a little far, so it was normal that she couldn't see clearly. However, after more than 10 seconds, when the other party got a little closer, Su Miao realized that it was not that she couldn't see clearly. The person being hunted is Odibio, a well-known person with special abilities from Africa. On the Supper app, there are special posts on Odibio, which mainly introduces the record of Odibio. For example, 3 days and 3 nights with the Lion King. Beheaded the Lion King. Fight a bloody battle with a giant crocodile in the flood and kill it, etc. The other party is not malicious, and it depends on the situation. Odibio faced these undead. Su Miao turned and left without any intention of taking action. It would be bad if I was misunderstood as stealing monsters. Not long after walking, Su Miao saw 3 of CD's men, who were full of malicious intent. Which? One person exclaimed. Su Miao shook his hand. The magic beam broke out, killing the 3 instantly. And by the way, he searched the space storage device with magic tentacles. After walking for a while, Su Miao met a few foreigners. After seeing Su Miao, he looked very excited and ran over waving his hands. Su Miao was frightened by the maliciousness of a stranger, shook his hands, and several people were penetrated by the ice arrows and fell on the wilderness. In the spirit of humanitarianism, Su Miao routinely used magic tentacles to search the space storage device and brought a ball of blue flame to burn their bodies to ashes to prevent them from being exposed in the wilderness. Su Miao continued searching. Everywhere. She releases a magic perception and queries the situation nearby. After half a day, Su Miao came to a special area. It looks like a wasteland, but when you go forward in the sky, you will be transmitted back to the original point. Su Miao stopped. If nothing unexpected happened, There was an area here that was similar to the temple ruins on the top of the mountain. Just standing high in the air and looking down. You can't see anything. Magical perception. The use of magic this time has a short-term stagnation. There is indeed something before. Su Miao walked elegantly to the ground. Left a small fireball, leaving a mark on the ground. Then, she tried to walk into the inside on the ground. But after walking a few kilometers, she looked down. And the ground was the mark on the ground just now. Fly. Can't get in. I can't get in by walking normally. Then, there is only one way left. Su Miao pointed the alloy staff forward. And the void collapsed. Suddenly, the space was broken. And it seemed that something was accompanied by a big collapse with the crushing of the area. The 1-3 Big Bang sounded. And the terrible mighty swept in all directions. Even if Su Miao did not dare to resist the front in the face of such a terrible Big Bang. Su Miao retreated to a high altitude at the first possible moment, and fully deployed the magic space array and magic barrier. In the special space, the starling continued to launch mental attacks on Fei Shizhua. And the foul language had never stopped from the beginning to now. At the beginning, Fei Shizhua was able to ignore the starling's mental attacks with his great patience. However, after a long time, even he couldn't help it to some extent. Fei Shizhua tried several times to attack the Binge brother who flew in the sky, and was almost anti-killed by the Alaries. Fortunately, his ability was not injured. Otherwise the consequences would be unimaginable. But not to make a response. It will not work for spiritual attacks. Later, Fei Shizua's clever movement found out a few mobile phones from the magic space, and recorded the voice cycle of the scolding of the Alaries. If such a scene can be recorded by a video, it can be sent to Weibo. The super app can definitely explode. Probably no one can think of the battle between powerful abilities. This scolding war is extremely thrilling. Ha ha ha. The hall is down. Garbage. You are dead. My brother hovered in the air and shouted excitedly. Fei Shizhua snorted and didn't care about what he said. In these few hours, he has fully learned about this scheming and cheap brother. In order to kill him, the best brother used it all. And every method was cheap. Similar to the Veggie saying that the pink demon Su Miao came. My brother also used it many times. How many times are this time? This is the 5th time. Hee hee. Even if the pink devil really comes, he has to be able to get in. So far, no one has come in except for several unlucky eggs that have been transmitted in. Several people who came in were either killed by my brother or was killed by him. If you want to blame someone, just blame these people for being unlucky. They saw things they shouldn't have seen and heard things they shouldn't have heard. If someone ever tells others about his confrontation with Beige, Fei Shizhua will be socially dead on the internet. Fei Shizhua picked up a cell phone, turned up the volume, and repeated the curse on the starling even more harshly. Standard. You are ready to wait for death. My brother hovered in the air and ridiculed. Do you think I am lied to you this time? Tell you. I will never lie. Especially I will not lie to people who are about to die. Fei Shizhua snorted coldly, and did not respond without any response. Of course, if the starling flew a little lower, or entered his attack range, Fei Shizhua wouldn't mind giving the starling a hard blow. That is, the energy consumption in the energy guns of several pulse energy guns is consumed. Otherwise there must be a few more brothers. Haha. You little bastard. You don't think I'm lying to you, do you? Ready to wait for death. Mina taunted. However, after the ridicule, Bai's heart was a bit embarrassing, because nothing happened. However, Belle really did not deceive Fei Shizhua this time. It did proceed near the hall of Su Miao. Haha. Even if the pink devil comes, she has to be able to get in. Noticing the changes in the tone of the elder brother, Fei Shizhua sarcastically. Although he said this, Fei Shizhua actually checked the surrounding environment again and again to prevent the pink devil Su Miao from suddenly appearing. The cheap brother can ignore it, but the pink demon Su Miao must guard against. It's best. But if you come, the president is not there, and things will become very dangerous. Unfortunately, after nearly half an hour, nothing happened. Fei Shizhua laughed. The foul-mouthed Mina bird has run out of tricks. The same moves have been used for the 5th time. But he wants to see when the Bell brother will use it next time. Now, in the case of unable to kill the elder brother, Fei Shizhua is about the same as that of the best. That is, waiting for the arrival of President Cd Luo Dongjie. As long as the president arrives, there will be no twists and turns to kill the below. As soon as the elder brother died, The pink demon Su Miao lost a card. And the later things would become simpler. Unfortunately, Fei Shirzhua miscalculated. Boom! Suddenly, the sky exploded. Fei Shirzhua turned around and unexpectedly found that Binge did not take the opportunity to sneak attack, but fled as soon as possible. He immediately called his ability to block the next wave of explosion and escape in another direction. What happened in this explosion? At the end of the explosion, the surrounding chaos is less than 10 meters. Suddenly the wind packed work, blowing the chaos around. This is the Starling using its abilities. Fei Shirzhua made a defensive attitude and was ready to deal with the sneak attack of the elder brother at any time. However, it was surprising that the elder brother did not attack this time. No, right. Fei Shirzhua looked at the sky, and a familiar figure appeared in the sky. The beautiful pink long hair danced. Su Miao, the witch holding the alloyed staff, stood at the high altitude and fell coldly on him. And Fei Shirzhua's heart was cool. Is it an illusion? Is it a new trick of a cheap brother? No. His Royal Highness Su Miao. I miss you so much. The grandson on the ground wants to kill me. My brother hovered in the sky and said loudly, His Royal Highness. His name is Fei Shirzhua. He has a special ability to eliminate the attack out of thin air. Fei Shirzhua. The strongest ability of CD. Su Miao's heart trembled. Learning the identity of the other party, Su Miao instinctively waved the alloy puppet, and hundreds of ice arrows screamed. Fei Shirzhua was extremely nervous. Facing the attack of hundreds of ice arrows, he just made a wave of his hand, and all the ice arrows disappeared out of thin air. Magic beam. Boom! Su Miao's attack did not stop for a moment, and the dazzling magic beam diameter shot down. Fei Shirzhua draws a circle quickly in front of him. The void circle seems to be a mirror, which completely reflects the magic beam back, and completely absorbed by the magic space in front of Su Miao. Fei Shirzhua was horrified. Which Su Miao eliminates much stronger ability to attack the attack out of thin air. This is his strongest ability. Your Highness. He is afraid. Afraid from the bottom of his heart. My brother took the opportunity to ridicule. 5 slag. You can't even fight the bird. And you are deliberately challenging His Royal Highness? You are dead. Fei Shirzhua's emotions were affected, and he looked at the Starling angrily. Not good. Was affected. He reacted immediately. At this time, a new wave of magic beams from the witch Su Miao hit. Boom! Chapter 341, Librarian. You plotted against me. ABA. This is Fei Shirzhua's mood now. He roared and burst out, eliminating most of the power of magic beam bombardment. However, some of them still failed to be eliminated. The remaining magic beams were like a laser knife, and Fei Shirzhua was cut into blood. It looks miserable, but they are actually just flesh wounds. Escape. Fei Shirzhua turned and fled. He couldn't even handle a Starling, let alone such a terrifying pink devil. The bleeding won't stop. Su Miao was not surprised by Fei Shirzhua's running behavior, and the alloy staff pointed forward. 1 second, 2 seconds, and 3 seconds later, Fei Shirzhua had no blood flow. The magic didn't work? No. This is not invalid. It is eliminated by the other party with special abilities. First, most of the prestige that can eliminate magic beam bombardment, and can eliminate more than magic of blood flow. This Fei Shirzhua is really strong. Those who replace it with general abilities really have no way to take him. No wonder the Starling was unable to kill Fei Shirzhua even after it was promoted to an Imperial level mutant bird. However, the magic beam that had not been completely eliminated just now made Su Miao understand that Fei Shirzhua's elimination ability has an upper limit, and the upper limit cannot be eliminated. Then things become simple. With a wave of the alloy staff, dense magical tentacles emerged from the wilderness. Fei Shirzhua stepped back a few steps back, and found that there were magic tentacles before and after. Pink devil. You really are a devil. His expression was terrified. Faced with such a desperate situation, Fei Shirzhua didn't know what to do. The magic tentacles were surrounded by Fei Shirzhua, and Fei Shirzhua struggled to eliminate the close magic tentacles. Now the only thing he could do was to hold on and wait for the president to arrive. As long as the president comes, he can live. Think about the past. Any person with special abilities were nothing compared to his abilities. No matter how powerful the killing moves of the other ability users were, he only needed to eliminate them in an instant and easily kill his opponent while he was in shock. However, the pink demon Su Miao was an accident. For the first time, his ability was unable to completely eliminate the opponent's attack. Fei Shirzhua couldn't understand it, because he could easily eliminate the attacks from President Luo Dongjie. What went wrong? Suddenly, the sky became extremely bright. Fei Shizuo looked up and saw a purple fireball with a diameter of more than 1 meter. Depend on. No wonder even the noisy ears of the ears can't hear. The foul-mouthed starling had already run away. Fei Shirzhua's eyes were filled with fear. Is it too late to beg for mercy now? Su Miao waved the alloy puppet and smashed the purple fireball towards Fei Shirzhua. This purple fireball consumes nearly 15% of her magic. Half a year ago, Su Miao wanted to have such a large purple fireball. She needed to reserve a small purple fireball every day and consumes about 1 month to make up. But now it is not necessary. The purple fireball fell, and it was bursting, completely annihilating Fei Shizuo's figure. In the last moment of his life consciousness, Fei Shirzhua seemed to understand why he could not completely eliminate the attack of the pink demon Su Miao. Is it possible that the witch is a real witch, and her attacks are not pure attacks from a person with special abilities, but magical attacks? Boom! The beautiful mushroom clouds rose, illuminating the sky of the remains, and evaporated the nearby clouds and ice and snow. Wait until the mushroom cloud disappears, and the explosion center has no more things except for a deep pit of hundreds of meters in diameter. Fei Shirzhua, the most powerful person under CD, was reduced to ashes. However, due to the impact of the explosion of the huge purple fireball, there were continuous earthquakes in the ruins, so it shouldn't be a big problem. Your Highness, I was really scared just now. Bench flew back and said with a lot of heart, "Never mind," Su Miao said, just as she was about to say something else. She noticed 2 malicious gazes. Magic beam. Boom! The blinding magic beam hit 3 kilometers away, and 2 sneaky ability users wearing black cloaks were blasted out. In the first instant, they turned into 2 balls of black water, escaped and disappeared. When Su Miao arrived at the scene, there was no trace of the magic beam bombardment area, and even the malicious intent became undetectable. Su Miao raised the alloy staff, and a huge blue fireball fell, blasting a big hole in the ground. The malice disappeared, but Su Miao's intuition told him that they were not dead. A moment later, 2 sneaky people with abilities in black cloaks appeared from a corner, panting. What kind of luck? I just got rid of CD and ran into the witch Su Miao. I almost lost my life. Don't talk too much nonsense. We haven't found the thing yet, and the pink devil has appeared again. We don't have much time. We can avoid the pink demon once, and we can avoid the second time. I'm not sure. The 2 sneaky ability users looked at each other and quickly disappeared. Sure enough, not long after they left, a starling appeared and flew across the nearby sky. In a moment, it flew over 8 more times, circled several times, and only left after confirming that there was no target. There's something wrong with this foul-mouthed starling. There is indeed a problem. Stop talking nonsense and leave as soon as possible. No, I am not reconciled to leave like this. Isn't the witch Su Miao and CD hate? You have to find a chance to meet them. So we have a chance. I feel like you're courting death. It seems that there is a point. Now that CD and Su Miao have remembered us, it is not appropriate to look for them again. Wait. I just received an important piece of information. I know who to look for. Who? You know when you arrive. In a ruin. The librarian looked at the various strange-shaped animal statues in front of him, his eyes full of curiosity. Bald. Barcelona stood nearby to alert the book. When they entered the ruins, they were randomly transmitted like other abilities. Bald. Barcelona is very grateful. If they entered the ruins according to their initial plans, they would not know how to die. They fell in the recovery of the undead skeleton group, and one encountered the siege of the weird animal statue of the recovery, and the other was caught in a strange illusion that could not extricate themselves. Whatever the Lord Sishu found them later, they died. Resuscitate one and let me study it. The librarian knocked on the statue in front of him, hoping that it would revive. Just waiting for a long time. The weird statues have always been unprepared, which disappointed Sishu. When the siege of Ball just now, these statues were very lively. A few consecutive knocks. There is no statue recovery. Look back. How did you let them live? The librarian looked at Ball and asked. Balt is extremely nervous, His Royal Highness. I don't make it. The librarian held the book in his hands, frowned, and decided to study it in a different way. She opened the book and there was a flash of light inside it. And the strange animal statues standing in front of the bookkeeper broke into pieces. By Bald, Barcelona stunned. His Royal Highness is great. If anyone stands next to Master C, who can avoid it suddenly? Who can avoid it? As soon as the book raised his hand, he was cut into a crushed piece of a crushed statue. She studied carefully. They are all stones. There were no special patterns on it, and no gem core inside. This was a technology she could not understand. Alternatively, these weird animal statues may be really statues. Your Highness, there's someone. Suddenly, Bai shouted loudly. Sishu turned around and looked at the direction of Bai. I saw a weird ability with a black cloak standing in the distance. It's you. The librarian saw the black cloak user, noticed the logo on the wet cloak, and showed an excited look. Is there something you want to talk to me about? This organization is very mysterious. Almost all places around the world have their traces. The scale of the organization and the overall strength does not go down to the 12 divisions. That is, their organization names are too ordinary and too unpopular. Abyss. Every time I hear the name of this organization, the book frowns. And can't you get a nice name? No matter how bad. You can consult her. It would be more handsome if there were some deep-sea star. Lord of the Abyss and Hell without gates. It seems that these names are not very good. Never mind. It's not the name of her organization anyway. Sishu stopped with the book a few steps forward and looked at each other as politely as possible. She has always wanted to collect an official member from the Abyss. It is said that the members in the Abyss are all awake mutated monsters and are very valuable for research. I hope to capture this one and see how they manage to stay conscious after becoming a mutated monster. Or they are not a mutant monster at all, but pure monsters. The black cloaked ability user sensed the crisis, but after carefully looking around, he sensed nothing. Hello, librarian. Let me introduce myself. My name is Almit. Almit under the black cloak said, I came here to give Sishu a message. Hey, CD is so weak against being beaten? The secretary showed a surprised look. What a pity. I wanted to stab CD a few times myself, but it seems that I don't have this chance anymore. Almit was speechless. And the situation of the 12 divisions. They generally learned about it, regardless of which channel the intelligence comes from. It says that there is discord within the 12 departments. Later, there were even outrageous situations that members of the 12 divisions on the Supper app publicly announced. Even so, Abyss didn't really believe it, because the 12 divisions are really too strong. A few months ago, the Abyss and 12 divisions have been fighting many times. They know the strength of the 12 divisions than any forces. Without any of the official members of the 12 divisions. Just the men of the 12 divisions made them suffer. But it doesn't matter. After all, I am also a leader of the Abyss. And my status is equal to that of the members of the 12 divisions. Although CD's fighting power is a bit abnormal. Sishu is just a little girl. The 3 strong men around him are all waste. Think of the past. Wait. Why are I thinking about this? Almit quickly came back to his senses. Librarian. You plotted against me. Suddenly, it was unclear whether it was the tentacle or the disgusting meat dumplings came out of the dark cloak and looked extremely disgusting. Boom! The pitch black ink exploded, polluting most of the sky and splashing towards the librarian. The librarian was forced to stop turning the other person into a book and turn a page. In an instant, light dispelled darkness. All the dark ink in the sky disappeared. Almit, who became a monster, fled while this opportunity. Ball and Bassa were frightened by the strange scene just now, and the 3 of them vomited continuously. Get away and spit. Sishu didn't know where to take a mask and put it on. These 3 followers are too bad. The book was written in the book. Just now this named Almit was beaten by Su Miao, who believed in this kind of thing. If something like this were to happen, the entire ruins would be in turmoil. However, the librarian still decided to go and take a look. This remains are too big. I didn't see acquaintances with 3 burdens walking for a long time. Walking is really tired. Now that the other party provides information. Walking in this direction. Su Miao. CD can always meet one. As long as you can meet one. I believe it won't be too difficult for the other one to find you. CD. The witch is over here. And she wants you to come over and die. On the other side. Abyss member Hurtado found CD again. Left a word. Pointed in a direction. And instantly turned into a pool of black water and ran away. CD chased over and looked at a pool of black water left on the ground. His expression became more and more gloomy. The routine used by the other party is familiar. This is an open conspiracy. CD Ludanji snorted coldly and strode forward. The other party provided information about the witch Su Miao simply because he wanted him to fight with Su Miao. But he entered the ruins. The purpose was to kill the witch Su Miao. Now that he has a clue, CD doesn't mind going over to take a look. Even if it is fake, it doesn't matter. In addition, it may be due to the excavation of the engraved meteorite. The land successfully stepped out of the graveyard of the gods and came to the wasteland outside. The Abyss member Oltado is very dedicated, and from time to time, it appears in front of the sea area. CD was behind the back, striding up, and did not accelerate. The two sides are very tacit. After a while, the Abyss member Oltado disappeared, and the figure of the librarian appeared in the distance. CD smiled coldly. Isn't it the witch Su Miao? The book is the same. Here, the Abyss member Oltado and Ulmit are reunited. Ulmit, what's going on with your body? Hurtado looked at his companion whose body had changed strangely with a shocked expression. Ulmit said, the librarian is very scary. I was deceived by her cute appearance. Please help me find a way to stop the changes in my body. I feel like I can't control it. Hurtado said, according to intelligence, the librarian can turn people into books. It is very difficult for you to survive. Ulmit said, damn. I didn't feel anything when I was talking to her. It's so weird. Hurtado said, it's okay. CD and Sishu have run into each other. As long as they start fighting, you can finish off whoever has less health. Kill Sishu, and your situation should be reversed. Ulmit said, okay. The two men looked towards the battlefield furtively. As soon as the library and the magistrate met, a fierce battle broke out instantly. The fight has begun. Good fight. Suddenly, a familiar voice came. Sun Thief. You are hiding here. Chapter 342 I'll kill you all. Ultrid. Tato looked up at the sky. Damn. That foul-mouthed starling showed up so quickly. How did it find them? Standard. You can't escape this time. The starling spun around, stirring up endless strong winds, forming a land tornado, and pounced towards Hurtado and Ermit. Dead bird. Ermit and Hurtado were also angry. I can't beat CD. I can't beat Sishu. I can't beat the witch. But can I kill a foul-mouthed Mina bird? One person emitted a pitch-black light, as if to plunge everything into darkness. One of them burst out with powerful tentacles like a witch, sweeping towards the starling in the sky. After all, they believe that they can compete with the members of the 12 divisions. The two powerful men attacked together and wanted to kill the foul-mouthed Mina bird in seconds. If the starling doesn't die, it will definitely attract the pink devil, and the situation will become even more troublesome. There was a loud explosion. The land tornado created by the starling exploded. Emperor. The broken tentacles were scattered all over the ground. And Ermit and Hurtado looked at the little lowly standing between the two of them with shock in their hearts. Their organization is not strong in other aspects, but it is the most professional in intelligence gathering. They have established relevant files on the witch Su Miao, and the Mina bird around Su Miao, Lin Jiujio, and Xia Xian. They all knew that the starlings were very powerful, and had the ability to taunt and attract hatred. However, who would have thought that this starling had already transformed into a human form? Moreover, this aura is clearly of the imperial level. If the starling releases such an aura outside, it can trigger a wave of mutant beasts in a very short period of time. In order to understand this royal creature, 6 members of the Abyss once took action together, thinking that it would be foolproof. However, 2 members died on the spot. 1 member was missing, and 3 were seriously injured. The organization suffered unprecedented losses. Now, there are only 2 of them here. To make matters worse, this damn best brother does not talk about martial arts. Sneak attack. Help me! Ermit screamed miserably, his body covered in blood. Affected by the librarian's ability, his body underwent irreversible changes and his strength was suppressed. Fighting against the fully erupted starling, he was severely injured on the spot, and understood the desperate situation faced by the several counselors who were trying to hunt the Emperor-level mutant creatures. You are just trash. You are too weak. Mina Su Luli taunted. Even after she turned into a lowly, the voice of her cursing became cute. This was somewhat difficult for her to adapt to. Trash. Mina Su Luli was very angry. It was all because of these 2 pieces of trash who loved to run away. She pointed at Ermit, and a cone of wind burst out, cutting off Ermit's central nervous system. In an instant, the tentacles that exploded all over Ermit's body collapsed and turned into a lifeless pale white. The dark cloak opened, revealing the weird head of Squid inside. His eyes were pale, and he looked deader than dead. Flash sale. Damn Mina bird. Pretending to be a pig to eat the tiger. Ultra's body was trembling. He wanted to escape from a pool of black water. But now he can't escape. Leave him to me. Sishu didn't know when he appeared next to the Gugusu Luli, and smiled slightly. Ah? The Mina bird Su Luli was startled, and didn't know when the librarian appeared. Isn't the book and CD fighting fiercely? Hush. The book opened the book in front of him. Ultra died, and he struggled, but felt that he had any special ability to restrain him, and could not escape at all. If you have to say something, he looks here. In fact, the scenery around him is constantly changing like a movie. His thoughts came to a standstill, as if he was pulled into some special space, and completely frozen. A book fell down. The title, Hurtado. Mina, thanks to you, I was able to turn him into a book so smoothly. The librarian waved his hand, and let the book fall into Su Luli's hand. Keep it for me. You can show it to Su Miao when she comes. I'm going to continue fighting. Su Luli looked at the book in her hand, then looked at the librarian who disappeared out of thin air, and felt a chill at what had just happened. Those who are so powerful, they are so simple to be turned into a book by the book. This is horrible. His Royal Highness. I want to go back to His Royal Highness. Let's go back to 10 minutes ago. CD walked out of the god's tomb and, under the guidance of the Abyss Counselor, saw Sishu in the distance. At the same time, Sishu naturally met CD. Su Chung. We meet again. CD Luodongji smiled coldly. Your luck is very bad. Are you ready to die? The librarian waved his hand and asked Bai, Ball and Bassa to step back. The three idiots are not that good, but they will only be cannon fodder here, and their deaths will be meaningless. She opened the book in front of her, and two powerful people walked out of the book. They looked at CD with cold eyes. The librarian shook his head. Luo Dongjia, you are really disappointing. However, considering that the previous Sitian was a mental illness, you became a paranoid, which is not surprising at all. Although the 12 divisions are a grass platform, you don't cherish your position too. Don't forget what our plan is. CD glanced at the two capabilities summoned by Sishu, and laughed. Su Orange, this is your ability? Only this? You will die quickly. Look at the same part of the 12 divisions. Let you prepare for a few more minutes. Sishu said. No. I have long wanted to beat you for a long time. With a wave of his hand, two powerful people who walked out of the book rushed towards CD. One of them summoned lightning and the other summoned clouds, forming an extremely terrifying blue lightning ball that covered the earth. The spherical lightning set is extremely terrifying energy, which can annihilate what encountered. Facing the terrifying ball lightning, CD just raised his hand. The spherical lightning disappears out of thin air. Then, he opened his big hands and pressed the void towards the two powerful people who jointly released ball lightning. 10 times the gravity exploded, and the two people with special abilities were instantly sunk 30 centimeters into the ground. The leg bone of one of them was broken on the spot. Too weak. The palm of CD raised it up again, and the ground thorns of bamboo shoots exploded, and the two capabilities were stringed on the spot. The two struggled for a few seconds and turned into a script to return to the book of the book. Really? The book opened the book again, and the surrounding scenes changed instantly, becoming a huge library. There are rows of books on the library's bookshelves, and each book represents a name. At a glance, there are at least 100,000 books here. Huh? The book spit out. The books in front of them rolled the page, and the books in the library flew out, turning into a powerful ability to surround CD. Rao was a ruthless person, but when he saw so many books, his expression changed slightly. Tion, for the sake of so-called happiness, carried out his plan in the Yangshan shelter and killed 140,000 people. Sealy, for his utopia, killed at least 30,000 beast users. Ciji, for the sake of so-called truth, destroyed 15 bases and a large shelter. I thought they were crazy enough, but I didn't expect you, librarian, to be no worse than them. CD laughed. A very crazy laugh. I have always underestimated you. I apologize to you. Today, you have my official recognition. I will use all my strength to kill you. Now that the book shows her true strength. She is also one of the 12 divisions. So she must go all out. The sky is falling, and the earth is splitting, CD shouted loudly. In an instant, the whole world was shaking. The countless underground cracks spread, and the horrible magma rose, turning the surroundings into chaos. 10 times the gravity outbreak. The action of all substances within the suppression range. The countless capabilities are falling and swallowed by the ground. Dark thorns. 10 times gravity. Ground cracks. Earthquakes. And at the same time, there are countless unclear mutated thorns growing out. Overwhelming. Seem to penetrate the stars. Pierce the ability to escape within the range. Wipe and kill. This is the ability to control all the power to control the land power. It is used on mutant organisms with very good results. It was just a blink of an eye. The first batch of capabilities released by Shu were killed by CD. And only more than 300 people were gangling. These surviving abilities are strong. But no matter how strong they are, it is still difficult to kill in front of CD. No. There is another one. An old man combined his sword with his body, bearing 10 times the gravity, and cut through the dark thorns, successfully killing his way to CD. However, CD just raised his sword and easily caught the old man's flying sword. With a little force, the flying sword broke and the old man fell down with an exhausted look. CD raised his foot and kicked the old man into the air, where he exploded into a ball of blood mist. Ga. The starling returned to its bird form and flew high in the sky, watching the battle between the library and the district magistrate with a look of fear. The librarian actually turned so many powerful people into books, and kept them in a strange library, releasing them in battle. CD is even more outrageous. In the face of so many powerful abilities, he does not blink his eyes and kills. The 12 divisions are so scary. Is this still something humans can do? You want to rely on human wave tactics to surround and kill me? Su-chang? I think you are just dreaming. CD strode forward, trying to invade Shu's library territory. Luo Dongjie, you didn't wash your face before going out. And you don't even know how to look in the toilet bowl. Are you qualified? The book opened the book in front of the book, and a line of name appeared in the book. And then a large number of books in the library flew out, becoming a powerful ability, and continued to launch a charge to CD. Unlike the last time, more than 5,000 people with special abilities appeared in CD's gravity field. The first thing they did was not to defend or dodge, but to ignore the fatal attack and attack CD directly. Even so, there were less than 1,000 people with the ability to successfully launch an attack, and the attack was still easily resolved by CD. As the scale of the battle between Shu and CD escalated, lightning and thunder appeared inside the ruins of the old man in the mountain, as if expressing strong dissatisfaction with the fight between the two. However, the former owner of the ruins had long since left, and no matter how dissatisfied the ruins were, they could only watch. What happened over there? What a big commotion! There must be some treasure that has been unearthed from the ruins. What the HL? Are you thinking this is a novel about cultivating immortals? This is a battle between powerful people. What kind of joke? This is the ability to fight? Pink demon shot? No. The surviving people in the ruins noticed the horrific battle that broke out in the wilderness. Someone took out a telescope and saw the battle situation clearly. What a big library. The books in the library will become capable. I know who is fighting. It is a book. An organization with CD. This old driver organization is really fighting inside. Really or false? Well, do I think we should run? The one fighting with the librarian is CD. Such a big commotion will definitely attract the witch Su Miao, and the scale of the battle will be even larger. Are you listening? Damn it. Grandson, you actually ran away first. Wait for me. Some of the people who came to watch the fun ran away, but some wanted to get closer and see more clearly in order to enjoy the fun. As a result, as he walked forward, he saw the witch Su Miao rushing towards the center of the battlefield. In a look, the men of the crowds did not hide their inner malice at all. Su Miao, who was passing by in the sky, was focused on by malicious gazes. He shook his hand, and thousands of ice arrows burst out, killing all of CD's men. Even after some of the ice arrows pierced through the corpses and fell to the ground, the extreme cold spread and froze, and killed some of the people with abilities who were close to them. The starling flew here, but didn't come back to report. Not long after, Su Miao sensed the extremely terrifying aftermath of the battle here and immediately rushed here. His Royal Highness is fighting and CD in the battle. When the Mina bird saw His Highness Su Miao arriving, it immediately flew over and reported stutteringly. Su Miao looked at the fierce battlefield and sensed the extremely strong malice coming from CD. She grasped the alloy staff, thinking about whether to use Starlight Blossom directly to attack. But Starlight Blossom required a casting time, and CD would definitely run away if he sensed the danger. In addition, she clearly saw how CD easily killed a large number of people with special abilities while walking on the battlefield. CD was afraid of the C tactics of C Shu. The powerful combined attacks of those ability users could not hurt CD at all. CD would use abilities similar to Fei Shirzhua to easily eliminate them, or even do better than Fei Shirzhua. Mina, please move away, Su Miao reminded. Yes, Your Highness. The starling responded and flew away for a while. Away from the battlefield. In the center of the battlefield, CD waved his hand and blew up dozens of people who were coming to kill him. Su Chung, you want to delay me by using the human wave tactics and turn me into a book? Have you tried it so far, and it works a little bit? The librarian turned the pages of the book in front of him and said, Luo Dongjie, it would be really profitable if I could turn you into a book. But I didn't have this plan from the beginning, CD said. Haha. Su Chung, are you afraid that the people in the book will come out to kill you again? The librarian said. Luo Dongjie, you are amazing. You even know this. CD raised his hand and burst into dozens of people again, frowned slightly, and said, Sishu, you are delaying time. The librarian continued to turn the pages of the book. Smart. Luo Dongjie, look over there. That pretty and cute witch with long, pink hair. Isn't she Su Miao? The pinker the color, the more ruthless she is at slashing people. CD smiled. Good. You're here. I'll kill you all.